Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey everybody, welcome to a Thursday edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with Jason Lloyd and Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. We've got Mike, Anthony, and Director Steve all behind the glass, and we got a lot to get to today, fellas. How you doing? Jason, you coming in hot today?
Coming hot.
You made it in? You were solidly here by 10:57.
I was in airplane mode. I left Avon Lake at 10:33.
Yeah, I mean, you were.
Why would you?
Damn.
You know, I'm not even going.
Yeah.
You're an interesting guy.
Based on the.
You need to be studied.
Based on the Jay Crawford scale, you were early.
I was early.
Yeah.
I
Jay
said I'd be
still doing that. He's still doing that 10:59 thing.
I said I'd be coming in as the music was playing, and I was in early.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
means that you were flying.
Yeah.
Airplane mode.
You didn't get caught. It didn't happen. That's
Today
it.
is a big day in
Why is
the
today a big
gaming world. I know you
Really?
guys aren't gamers.
Tell us about that. What's
The
going on?
Call of Duty Warzone is bringing back Verdansk today.
Bringing back who?
Verdansk. It's
that
the-
a person?
Don't make me download it again, Ty.
It's today. It's
Don't
at,
make me do
what
it.
is
It's at noon.
Verdansk?
So listen, let me explain to you.
Explain it.
So
A lot of gamers out
when
there.
When Call of Duty first dropped Warzone,
Yeah.
it was in Verdansk. This was that 2020? It was around COVID.
Literally right
It
when
was right when
started.
COVID hit. So it was like gaming took off.
Yeah, sure.
And Verdansk was like the best map that all Call of Duty Warzone.
Oh, so that's
players
not a
loved.
person. It's a map.
It's a map, yeah. And since then, there's been like 4 or 5 maps, but none of them is like Verdansk. And everybody's been like, we want Verdansk back. So you see all
But
these.
why don't you have it from when it came out last
Because
time?
every season they
erase
move.
it?
They like, all right, we're leaving Verdansk, we're going to Caldera, or we're leaving it. How did I lose the cap?
It's near Tyvis' feet, I think.
oh, there
it
it
is.
It's a roller.
I told you, need to be studied. Anyways, they went to like 3 other different places. Now
Yeah.
they're going back to the first map that everybody loved.
Yeah.
And it comes out today in 58 minutes. So they probably going to break the servers because everybody.
gonna happen?
Probably.
Don't they prepare for these?
You would think, but like when Fortnite brought their OG map back,
Oh,
it
yeah.
like broke the servers and all those things.
My son, when Fortnite did something 6 months ago.
6 months.
My son and another one of his friends were like, can we go to our other friend's house because we're going to see this big thing? I don't know what he's talking about.
they got events on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it be breaking the server. So I would imagine when they drop this map,
Yeah.
a lot of people that's went away from Warzone probably gonna come back to see
All right.
this map.
So that's big in the gaming world. In the movie world, they just announced yesterday there's going to be a John Wick 5.
I saw that.
He died at the end
That's what I said.
before. What happened?
See, this
Spoiler alert.
This the thing.
Spoiler alert, the movie's like 2-3 years
I
old.
guess I don't have to watch John Wick
What-
1 through 4 now.
The thing is, when somebody of that stature dies, you have to show the body. If they don't show the body,
That's fair.
It means that they're not truly dead.
That's true.
And they just
They're
show
only
the
mostly
grave.
dead. All right, very good. Mike, what do you got for us? You got something? Some surprise?
Before we jump into, and by the
Why
way,
can't I
have
hear
the
Mike?
pedal. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I hear you
have a
now. Okay,
button.
yeah.
I got to figure out the proper way.
He said you
the
got a
button.
pedal?
Yeah, because they used to have to hit a button for the mic, but then I only had one hand, so now we tried to get a foot pedal. So we're gonna get. If you hear a little wonky stuff today, it's because we're
All right.
still
That's what that is.
figuring out. Do you hear a little click?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so we can't hear the click, Steve. That is official. We got to work on that. We'll fix it for tomorrow.
Well,
But
just
this is the
'cause we
first
hear-
day of a
well-
process. Before we dive into a big show, we got Cavs, Guardians, draft stuff galore. I wanted to bring up a little thing that we talked about last week, or maybe it was Monday, that now that we may have a response. Remember Jimmy Haslam's comments? We swung and missed on Deshaun Watson at the owners' meeting.
Sure.
Well, yesterday, Deshaun posted this on Instagram, and I'm curious if you guys think it's just coincidence or if this may be a response to what Jimmy Haslam said. He posted in his Instagram post after Jimmy Haslam said that the team took a swing and a miss, that basically, and Ant, because it's not in the tag board, Ant's going to pull up the exact quote. Give us 1 second here. I thought it was going to be included in Social News Desk, but because Social News Desk is an abomination, it is not. Anthony, what was the actual caption of the Instagram post that Deshaun put up?
Maybe, if I weren't built for this, I'd let it phase me.
Is that a direct response to what Haslam said, or is this just a coincidence he's posting multiple pictures in Browns gear following Jimmy Haslam's comments?
Of course it's a response.
Honestly, I don't think it is.
I
You
don't think
think
it
so?
is either.
I don't
I
think
thought he
he's-
was talking about the injury.
I don't think he's self-aware enough for it to
No?
be a direct response. No.
First of all, you wouldn't direct response to the person that's cutting you the check.
Well, they got to cut him a check no matter what he says.
That's true.
That's very true.
That's why they're in this position.
I mean, he could come out and say, "Man, I'd like to bang your wife," and they'd still have to pay
Good
him. Is that
Lord.
inappropriate?
yes, that's inappropriate.
Is that crossing the
Where's
line?
my
I didn't hear what
penalty
you said,
flag?
so don't say it again.
I
If you have
probably
to ask,
shouldn't
don't say it again.
He could, and what could Jimmy Haslam do?
Write him another check.
Maybe I should have said nail.
God, you're ridiculous.
This is a family show.
Put you on
No,
a
it's
leash.
not.
I know it. So
Pull it together, will you? Can't handle a little.
You're talking about banging other people's wives.
I'm not doing it. I'm saying that
You
Deshaun would
you
do
know
it.
Cam Newton did that before he got drafted.
He probably ain't the only one.
He put
I know he ain't
he
the
put
only
a
one.
he put a tweet out talking
Not
about
a
somebody's
surprise.
wife.
I'm sure Deshaun is loyal to his fiance.
All right, stop.
You need to cut that.
But
out.
there is, I mean,
Well, I'm gonna get hate mail for that one.
there is context to what Jimmy said.
Yeah.
At least D tried to provide the context. Like, as Jimmy was saying, we took a big old swing and a miss. D said, well, there were a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Like, D was trying to put it on the injuries more than the
Right, which
performance
is
of the
ridiculous,
player.
but-
I mean, we could argue
Yeah.
correctly that he wasn't the same player. But
He was
whatever.
hurt. He had some
whatever.
injuries.
He had some devastating injuries.
Yes, he did.
And that's what D was, I think D,
Yes.
D is much more aware than Jimmy.
Oh, 100%.
So I got a really funny story with that. I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah.
But I think D was trying to reframe it as, hey, he had injuries. It was out of his control.
Right.
And Jimmy was just looking also correctly at the end product that it was a miss.
Yeah.
They tried and they missed. But Jimmy can't help himself sometimes. It's hysterical.
You think?
It's hysterical to watch in real time
Yeah.
that he can't help himself. So we're in this conference room, and it's the mezzanine. We're on the second level of the Breakers Hotel. And it's a private conference room. There's a big table. And it's Jimmy and D on one side, and there's probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 riders around the table. And I asked Jimmy, I said, you used the Modell Law to your advantage to acquire the Columbus Crew, so why now do you believe it will not be a hindrance in moving the team to Brook Park, to the Dome? And Jimmy starts by saying, my attorneys would say that is a legal question I should not answer. And D jumps in and says, yes, Jimmy, let's leave it at that. But Jimmy can't help himself.
Jimmy went Jimmy.
Jimmy. You know, the show, the Apple TV show.
Severance?
Oh, yeah. Shrinking.
Yeah. Where he starts Jimmy.
Yes, he starts Jimmy.
Well, Jimmy started Jimmy. And he goes, no, like, I want to say this. And she's going, no, Jimmy, please, leave this. It's a legal issue. And he's going, no. There's just one thing I want to say. And what he said was absolutely correct. But he said, I don't think the spirit of the law was meant to move a team 12 miles down the road.
That's correct.
And he's right.
He's right.
But the moment was hysterical of him saying, I know I shouldn't say this. And his wife's like, you're right, you shouldn't. Please don't. Whatever's about to come out of your mouth, please don't say it. And he's like, put the guardrails down. I'm saying it anyway.
Jimmy really is like a TV character. I mean, he is. And Dee's like, she's the frustrated wife with her dopey husband. He's like rich and powerful, but he's dopey.
I'm not going to call him dopey, but it was really funny.
He wanted to speak his mind.
It was really funny to watch in the moment of her saying, okay, don't say it. Leave it. It's a legal issue.
Did you see her face when he was talking? Like, did you look at her? Or?
No. Well, I mean, the whole time she's got the nervous smile.
Yeah.
You know But I was watching him.
She probably thought to herself like, "Oh, that's not that bad." Like,
no, I'm sure there was
once
relief.
he said it. Okay, it wasn't that.
I'm sure, and the Brown spokesperson was in there. I'm sure there was relief. In the entire
that he
room.
didn't go too
That
far.
he didn't go too far. And what he said was, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
is
Well, you guys don't think Watson's comments have anything to do with it? I mean, I guess we don't know. In the end, it doesn't matter. Whether he cares or not.
When I seen it, the thing that I thought,
Yeah.
I didn't think about the comments. I thought that he was talking about the injuries, like getting the Achilles injury and trying to come back from the Achilles. I thought that's what he was talking about.
Okay.
But he very well
to
could
me,
be
it seemed
talking.
like
He very
he
well
was,
could be
but-
talking about it. The good thing about that is It's a gray area, so people can speculate that
However
it's
you
that.
want.
Some people can speculate as that. It's
He likes to go on Instagram. He likes to put things on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do. And to Deshaun's credit,
Yeah.
like I have written and said some really harsh things about him,
Yeah.
and he answered every question I ever asked him. He was very polite and cordial. Like that's just the way that.
Have you
and-
ever? Do you write any good
All
hard
the
pieces?
time.
Even about the
What do I
players?
always say, Tyvis? You can write 100 good articles.
But-
Players don't
but-
care.
but it's Jason,
We'll never
though.
say that
Yes.
Jason writes good articles all the time.
Yes.
No player's ever going to say, Jason, thanks for that great article.
What's
It was
the
really
last
nice."
good article, good story article about a player?
You write good things about the Guardians a lot. I
Yeah,
feel like.
I haven't written anything on the Guardians in a while. I write nice stuff on
When
the
you
Cavs all
okay,
the
so
time.
when you do these articles, do you see the players and they say thank you?
Never,
No.
right? Never.
No, never.
I would say thank you.
Never.
If you wrote a good article about me and I saw you, I'd be like, thank you for that article.
The closest I came, well, I've had parents email me and say thank you.
The parents of the
Parents of the athletes. The closest I came to an athlete, I think, saying thank you was when LeBron retweeted a story I wrote on his foundation.
Oh. That's his version of thank you.
That's his
the
version of
retweet.
thank you. It was, and like I stand by it. What he's done with that foundation, the way that he's helped some of these kids,
The I Promise School.
and the parents, like getting GEDs for like. He does so much that doesn't get taught. We don't need to spend time on it
Well,
now,
I
but
know.
he does so much for these kids and their parents that doesn't get discussed. So years ago, I wrote, he was the Sportsman of the Year back when The Athletic did that by city, did the Sportsman of the Year story on LeBron and all that he's done for the kids in his foundation, LeBron James Family Foundation. And I was just amazed by the parents being able to get GEDs and the lives that he's changed and the jobs that these parents have gotten from it. So I wrote a big piece on it. And his publicist texted me and said, LeBron is going to retweet this, blah, 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 blah. So that was probably the closest I came to it.
There you go. All right, Mike.
Good on him.
Speaking of the Cavs,
We do. Let's get into the
let's
Cavs.
talk about the Cavs win last night.
Big win over the Knicks. It's brought to us by FanDuel. Guys, March Madness is here. The Final Four just 2 days away. You have the All-SEC matchup on one side of the bracket, Florida versus Auburn. On the other side, it's Duke versus Houston. All 4 number 1 seeds made it, and if you're looking to bet on those games, there's no better place to place those bets than with FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when their first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even pick who's going to cut down the nets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and get it in the college hoops action all tournament long. We got a crazy winning ticket today from our guy Darren.
me see
Darren hit a 21-part same-game parlay,
Jeez.
turned $6.67 into $1,441.15.
Darren Smith?
Our guy Darren from Kansas City
What?
with a gigantic win in this week's Grizzlies-Warriors game.
21-part parlay.
He put in 22, but because Jamal Murray didn't play in another game, it got voided, so it turned into a 21-part
Wow.
parlay. Hit all 21 parts, turned $6.67 into $1,400.15.
That's
A
a sweet win
gigantic
right
win
there.
for our guy
Big
Darren.
dude.
He
That's a
knows
new
his
suit.
barbecue. He knows his Kansas City sports. He knows how to bet on FanDuel.
I don't know
And
if
if
we
you
can
have a
read
winning
this,
ticket
but-
on FanDuel,
Yeah.
send it in to us so we can feature it here on the show. But shout out to Darren. Huge win. $6.67 into $1,441.15. Talk about a big-time win.
By the way, shout out to 3 of the 4 Final Four coaches are Jewish. Yeah!
Let's go. In
Another
the
one for
basketball
your
news,
win.
it was a slow
ahead.
start for the Cavaliers yesterday. The Knicks were making everything
Yeah.
in the first half. In the second half, it was a flip of the script. The Cavs came out physicaled New York. They outshot New York. They out-executed New York. I'm going to see if Steve remembers the video I told him to have ready when he's ready. And he
Mike
found
called
it
this a big win. Do we agree with that?
after being down 15 with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Is it a big win? I mean,
Do you think of it as a big win? Yeah.
yes.
How come it's a big win?
It's a big win because I never thought they were in danger of losing the 1 seed.
Right.
But if you look at Boston's schedule the rest of the way, it's light.
Well, the magic number's 1 for the Cavs.
No, it's 2, I thought.
But Boston may not lose again the rest of the way. So by winning that game, it solidifies. If they lose that, it goes down to 3.5 with I think 7 to play. Or
Well,
something like
Boston
that.
lost last night.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yes,
Did they lose?
That's why I said I thought it was 2.
So it's down to 1.
No, it's down to 2. It is officially 2.
No, because if they finish tied, the Cavs would have the 1 seed.
Jerome told me it was 2 yesterday in the locker room.
All right.
Okay,
Anyway,
fine.
the reason why I thought it was a big win, yes, it's a big comeback. Knicks are a good team. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
but it solidifies. I think last night
Locked it up.
wraps up
For
the
good.
one.
Yeah.
And that's important, yes. But it's also important. The 1 seed matters with voters when it comes to Evan as Defensive Player of the Year, when it comes to Kenny for Coach of the Year and stuff. And the Kenny
Right.
Coach of the Year is a nice little feather in the cap. Doesn't, I mean, I haven't seen his contract. Maybe there's something, I'm sure there's a bonus or something.
Okay.
But the Evan Defensive Player of the Year has big ramifications on his pocket, Cavs payroll going forward, all that stuff. So for a lot of extenuating reasons, yeah, that was a big one.
I say it's a big win because it's the Knicks, and the Knicks had your number a couple years ago, and people just don't forget about those things. And the way that this game started off, like it was like, it was very mind-boggling. I was sitting there like, y'all really about to lose to the Knicks without Jalen Brunson? Like that's sad. And then, obviously, they came back in the second half. In the third quarter, they looked like a totally different team. I mean, in the first, I felt Cat was killing them on the boards. OG Anunoby, of all people, was out there just balling. And I'm just like, how is we supposed to be really good defensively and have all this shooting and be great scoring, and we losing to the Knicks without Jalen Brunson. So it was like really bothering me at halftime. And then the third quarter happened. Donovan caught fire. Jarrett Allen closed that game. That's what I've been waiting to see, J.A. That's against the Knicks. I wanted to see him because the last time in the playoffs, the lights was too bright, and every time you see him play the Knicks, that comment just always comes up to mind to me. So it was good to see him exert himself in there and finish at the basket. I mean, the guy looked really good. I even seen Donovan after the game giving him his praise, talking about he's one of the most underrated guys and he just doesn't get the recognition, but he does this type of stuff all the time. And I was really good to see that. So, like, moving into the playoffs, I'm confident that the lights won't be too bright for J.A. He will be good in those tough spots. So, to me, that's why this game was important.
For me, nothing they're doing in these last 2 weeks is going to matters with the playoffs. However, I will agree that it's a big win because the sooner they clinch this 1 seed, the sooner they can go into full preparation for the playoffs mode, right? Like in terms of resting players, they have a back-to-back coming up in the final week of the season. Obviously, I'm not playing any of the key guys in both of those games. You got to get Ty Jerome healthy. What's going on with him now?
We're going to do a whole topic on it later in the show.
Oh, yeah,
He's
okay.
not seriously hurt. We'll get to that a little later.
All right. So
Rest.
Well, no, he's got something going on.
I think
Just tell me what it is, Mike.
It's knee tendonitis.
Huh?
Knee tendonitis.
Oh, I got that going on now.
So, like, the sooner they clinch that 1 seed,
Make me grab my
the better. You got to rest guys down the stretch, keep guys fresh. I think that can be advantage for the Cavs in the playoffs. But
Your knee started hurting just hearing that.
Yeah, I wanted.
is beating the Knicks in the end really that big a deal? Do the Knicks have a single win against any of the top teams this year still?
They're 0-6 now against the Thunder, the Cavs, the Celtics. 0-6.
But again, it's not so much beating the Knicks as it is everything else.
Right, yeah, that's why I said getting closer to clinching. Being able to do that as soon as possible, that's important.
Postseason awards.
So let's say they go out there. When they play next? Tomorrow?
The Spurs tomorrow, yeah.
So let's say they go out there and they beat the Spurs and the Celtics lose.
Yeah.
That means that
It's over.
So you think they should rest from that moment on?
Well, not every single game, but take advantage of having things locked up by playing guys.
See, I think you should just cut back minutes. I'm not a huge fan of just like don't do nothing for the game.
Well, I wouldn't play guys that there's a back-to-back they have at Indiana. And
I'm
at
not
New
playing
York.
them in the back-to-back.
I'm not playing any of my key guys in both of those games. I'd sit like Mobley and Donovan one game. I'd sit Allen and Darius the other game.
Well,
Okay.
Allen's not going to sit.
So you would?
Huh?
Allen's not going to sit.
So you saying
nonsense?
I get what you're saying.
So you're saying out of the core four, you would at least make two of them play each game. Ain't that what they do?
Or
anyway?
play all of them four in one game and none of them in the other game. I don't care. The games won't matter at that point.
Allen's not going to sit out.
I know, which is detrimental to the team.
No,
you
it's
just
not.
reduce.
It's not.
He's playing a game.
Reduce his minutes.
It's
That's
not
all.
detrimental to the team. to
It's
play.
not. If he's dealing with an injury,
He's fine.
I would.
If he was really hurt,
I
they would
reduce
sit
his
him.
minutes.
Okay.
That's what
He
I
said
would
the
do.
hand isn't hurting him anymore, by the way. He's
Oh,
taking the
it's
wrap
clear
off-
as day that the hand.
He's
is
taking
fine.
the
He's
wrap
fine.
off his hand. He's made that. I'll double check.
all right.
this in a
In
sec.
fairness, we did call him soft last year. for not playing. So
if he was hurt,
I didn't call him soft. I said just not something that I would do. I didn't call him soft though.
If he was hurt, they would sit him. He's not hurt. He wants to play in all 82. Let him. It's not hurting anything. If he rolls an ankle, he rolls an ankle. Like
I called him soft 2 years ago against the Knicks.
But Jason, it did look like he was hurt there for a while.
Oh, it did. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not saying don't play him because he might get hurt. I'm just saying if he's hurt, he shouldn't play every game.
Yeah, he's fine.
All right, if you say he's fine, then I'll live with it.
See, I said something nice. He's fine.
He defended him when I said he's being detrimental to the team.
If that's your way of being nice to somebody, boy.
You think is anybody getting Mike? Wonder why they getting a rest day against the Spurs?
They haven't announced it yet. It'll come out today if they're resting anyone. But Jarrett Allen in his last 4 games, by the way, he's taken 41 shots.
Yeah, he's shooting like 90-something%, right?
Of those 41 shots,
he
has made 35. He is 35 of 41.
Doesn't he lead the NBA in field goal percentage?
I believe so. I can double check for you right now.
I seen it like 2 games ago. They showed it on like the ticker. He was like 70% or something like that.
He is officially up to 71%, which is 2.2 percentage points higher than anyone else in the NBA.
That is
absurd.
Amazing. I mean, he probably takes the most percentage of high percentage shots, doesn't he?
Yeah, but even other guys that are in the top 5 are like Zubac.
Guys who do the same thing.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert, who doesn't shoot anything
at the rim.
He's more than 2 feet out.
Yeah.
Giannis got a jumper. Turnaround jumper, too.
He does? Why does anybody do the hook shot? Where's the Kareem hook? I mean, shouldn't some of these guys be able to do the Kareem hook?
Nobody can master the hook. People do hook shots, but not like Kareem.
Not like Kareem.
No, not like Kareem.
He's also 7 feet tall.
Well, you can't block it.
Can't block it.
You talking about Kareem?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't block it.
7'2".
Right. We were having I know Tyvis was listening yesterday, but I don't know that you were. We were discussing.
They lost their mind. I watched that segment just disgusted.
What did you have a problem with?
Because y'all just.
Well, we forgot about Giannis.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
We were discussing if Jokic is the best foreign-born player of all time, and then I said, is he the best player of this century besides LeBron? And Mike said he thought Tim Duncan was better, and I said Kobe was better, that I had him third.
Kobe wasn't better.
No?
No. I take Jokic over Kobe.
Tim Duncan.
I think I take Jokic over Duncan.
Me too.
You take Jokic over Duncan?
Yeah.
With how good defensively Duncan was?
Yeah.
Different era, Jason. He's got to win another title before I can put him in the Duncan category.
Duncan also had...
Duncan had a lot better teammates than Jokic has had.
Pop, Parker, Manu.
Robinson.
Duncan was. We're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about the 3rd or 4th or 5th best players in the last 25 years.
Jokic just doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
Well, yeah, if he
even still,
I just said yesterday.
What are you talking?
That if LeBron had done, and LeBron obviously deserves plenty of credit, he gets it. If LeBron had done what Jokic did with the 60-point triple-double, it would have been the story for a week.
Well, he's in L.A.
But Jokic is a European guy. He doesn't seem that enthusiastic about basketball.
Yeah.
He makes some of the most absurd passes I've ever seen in my life.
He is everything that you are not supposed to do, and he dominates.
It's amazing.
He's probably not going to win MVP. I think Shea's going to win it. Yeah. But there is no wrong answer.
Yes, it is.
No, they're both been incredible. We're going to switch out. There's a little clicking noise in this mic, so we're going to re-switch our mic. So just keep this conversation going for 2 minutes while Steve switches out mic. So don't come to me for a second.
So you're going LeBron. You go.
I would vote. I don't have a vote anymore.
No. But I mean for best player of the century.
Best
you go
player.
LeBron 1, Jokic 2.
Giannis 1.
Off the top of my head, yeah. But
Giannis is 1.
Giannis would probably be 3 for me.
Giannis
since 2000
ahead of Kobe.
Yes.
Really?
I'd have to think about that.
The only person, Shaq might be.
I'd have to think about
Shaq.
that. So we're talking since 2000.
What about Steph, Jason?
That's a great one, too.
Oh, come on.
Steph is sensational, but...
Sensational.
Come on now.
But Steph, you're talking about all-around player, and I realize Jokic isn't a defensive stopper, but you got to factor defense in, and Steph doesn't guard.
Giannis does. Defensive player of the year and MVP.
Yeah, but he can't shoot.
So was the people in the 80s, and ain't nobody say nothing about that?
What are you talking about?
Wilt still had 100 points. I don't think he took a jumper.
But he had 100 points.
Well,
Did he though?
Oh, stop. Didn't he average 50?
Don't say, because I said the same thing. We got him holding up a picture of 100, but we ain't got no footage.
Didn't Wilt average like 50 and 20?
That could have been the wives that he was with that night, according to Bull.
Yeah, it could have
They
certainly been. He was
called it,
world renowned.
Could have had nothing to do with the game.
They called it a
true.
sundae. You know, they ice cream sundae is what they called it. He get a black one, a white one, and a red bone on top.
Chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry.
Oh my God!
This, I'm serious.
I think we've gone too far here. Tyvus getting us out of control. I didn't expect that to happen there.
You're a bad influence, Bull.
Yes, I'm proud to say I've influenced you after 3
Just
years
saying.
now.
They said Magic was the same way, so.
Yeah, well.
You don't call him Magic for nothing.
Yeah. Oh, man.
How you think
All
you
right,
got that
Mike.
nickname?
We cannot hear you.
No, we cannot hear you, Mike.
Uh-oh.
Now we can hear you.
We can hear it.
We cannot hear you again. All right, do a read there, Anthony, and we'll keep it moving.
Are we ready? Okay. Today's episode is brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work and taking pride in what you build and practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the All-Stars are hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical and medical devices. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts to help make every day easier. Seeing your whole supply chain is easier, managing logistics is easier, responding to price changes is easier. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global vision, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. Because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hardworking minute. Easier doesn't cut corners, easier finds the lane. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com.
All right, guys.
www.easierwithepicor.com. Thank you, Bull.
All right, there you go. So, guys, Adam Schefter was on the Pat McAfee show, and he says, well, I think his quote was, "The sense I'm getting is that both the Browns and the Giants are going to pass on quarterback." What is happening? No good? Oh, okay, here's the comment.
And to me, it just feels like Tennessee is increasingly locked in on Cam Ward at number one. And I know they'll listen to offers. Right now, barring some blockbuster offer, I'm expecting the Titans to stay at number one and take Cam Ward, and we'll see how this works out here in the next few weeks. But that now leads to the question, okay, where is Shedeur Sanders going? That, to me, now looms as the most intriguing, interesting question heading into the NFL draft in Green Bay, because we do believe that Cam Ward will wind up going number one. And it certainly feels like the Cleveland Browns are inclined to look elsewhere aside from quarterback. And it's starting to feel like the New York Giants at number 3 are starting to look elsewhere other than quarterback. So if the Browns don't take Shedeur Sanders at 2, and if the Giants don't take Shedeur Sanders at 3, and that is the feel that I'm getting recently, where is Shedeur Sanders going? And I think the two spots that you look at today, 3 weeks out, as we tape this, and this is a fluid process and it changes. But today, 3 weeks out, I'm looking at the New Orleans Saints at number 9 and the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 21, who never, ever would have thought that Shedeur ever would slide to them. And he probably still won't. But there was a time where we said Aaron Rodgers wouldn't slide to 23. He was going to go number 1, and he wound up sliding on draft day all the way to number 23. And that's why, to me, this looms as the most interesting question. Is Shedeur going to get past 2 and 3? My guess today would be yes. How far is he going to slide then? New Orleans, I think, has the real possibility of facing a very interesting decision. He would make sense there. I could totally see that being the pick.
Starting to feel to me like there's less and less of a likelihood that Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter get to the Patriots. The Browns and Giants have at least given off some signals over the last week or two that they could take position players, Hunter, Carter, at 2 and 3, and then double back on day 2 and get quarterback.
See, we are to blame as a society for this. We're all to blame. All the fans, all the media, we are to blame. This is what has become our beloved industry, that we have insiders. We never even had insiders, whatever the hell that was. Now insiders, it's breaking news and we're playing 3-minute clips about their speculation and their feels. I mean, it's because of the over coverage of this event, because fans love it and we can't get enough information. There's no factual based information there. I don't know. Am I being unfair in saying there's no factual based information there?
I would say,
like the fact that Albert and Adam Schefter both essentially said the exact same thing. There's a feeling. There's my feeling.
Well, go ahead.
My only thing with it is, I got 2 things on this whole topic. The first one is, when I heard that, it immediately made me think about Zach Jackson tweeting that. He said, after I was doing all the talking with all these people, and nobody has him really as a first-round grade on Shedeur. And I was like, that's kind of odd to hear him say that, but okay. And then it made me think about when everybody kept telling me I'm a hater and I'm crazy because I kept saying, I don't know why Shedeur, it's weird to me that Shedeur keeps recruiting the Browns.
Right.
I kept saying, why is he doing it? Like, you should be recruiting everybody.
You
but
were
he
100%
specifically
right.
keeps picking the Browns. And I kept saying, maybe he thinks that if the Browns don't take him, he potentially will slide far in the draft. So that's why he keeps recruiting the Browns. And I'm like, and right now when you hear this type of report, it's like, I was right. That's exactly what he was doing.
But do you believe there's any factual basis in what Adam Schefter and Breer are saying?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, so 2 things on this.
Yeah.
One, I told you weeks ago there's going to be volatility in this draft because there's uncertainty at the top.
Yeah.
Anytime there's uncertainty at the top, you're going to get weird things happen. 2, the reason this is coming the way it is, and the reason it's been sort of all over the place, is because the only thing that I can say confidently right now about the Browns is they don't know who they're taking. They have not decided yet. Okay, so that's why you get this. Because I think they have a pretty good idea. They got a pretty good sense. They still have another pro day to go through with Colorado.
Right.
They don't know with 100% certainty. As we sit here at 11:32 on Thursday, April 3rd, they don't know yet who they are taking. Okay. That is the only thing that I am 100% confident.
So that
right
makes
now.
sense. That makes a lot of sense.
So then how can any of us sit here and say they are going to take X when the Browns don't know who they are taking?
Exactly. So I don't know why it's like we treat the things that Adam Schefter says affects betting odds on the draft.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because he's just speculating. I know he has a lot of insight, but Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are not telling Adam Schefter what their plans are.
No, but they don't know. Like, they don't know who they're taking yet.
Right.
I know it sounds kind of insane to say.
No, I don't think it's insane at all.
Because I kind of thought when they took Baker, I talked to people well after the fact that John had pretty much made up his mind when he got the job. He wanted Baker. Mm-hmm. Was it 100%? No, it wasn't 100%. But, I mean, John told me he knew when he got here.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good sense he wanted to take Baker.
Right.
So I kind of went through this process thinking that they had a pretty good idea of who they wanted to take. But after spending 3 days in Florida, like, I can tell you, I don't think they know. I think they probably have a decent idea, but it's not written in, like, there is no yellow pad from draft day of, what was the kid's name, no matter what? I forget now. What
was his name?
It is so impactful.
Oh, man.
None of us can remember.
no.
I was going to say Callahan, but that wasn't it.
No. I was about to say
whatever.
Quarterback.
It doesn't matter. But like they don't have, they're not at that point.
Yeah.
So it leads.
Bo Callahan?
No, it's not
Jesus.
Bo.
Does anybody listen to us?
Vontae Mack.
Vontae Mack. That's something with
Shout
a
out
V.
to Earl.
Vontae Mack, no matter what.
Yeah.
We're not at. Is Mike blowing your eardrum out too now?
Yes,
Mike?
yes.
I didn't turn my.
That's why I didn't turn it up.
So because there's no consensus within the team, that's why you get. I told you guys last week, I get the feeling they're taking Travis Hunter. I think they're taking Travis Hunter. Do I know that? No, I don't know that because they don't know that.
Right.
But I just feel after talking to a bunch of people in Florida, I get the sense I think it's going to be Travis Hunter.
I think that the problem is that they're picking too high. Like, in recent years.
No, the problem is they don't have a quarterback to take.
That's true. That's true, too.
The problem.
That is a huge
But they can't be totally off Sanders, otherwise they
That's a
probably
huge
know who they were
problem.
picking. And I don't think they're meeting.
They still have to go through a pro day with him.
Aren't they having a private workout with him tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. I bet you by this weekend or early next week, they make their decision.
It is. I don't even think it's the workout. It's the time with
conversation,
the kid. It's
yes.
the time with the
Of course,
I should
yeah.
say
The workout
kid.
doesn't matter.
The time with the players.
Yes.
And they invite the wives and the girlfriends and the parents and anyone who's close to. They want to get to know the player, and they want to get to know everyone who's in that player's inner circle.
Jason, I had that's actually coming out tomorrow, but I spoke to Jay Gruden, former Washington coach, Bengals OC.
We had him on here.
Yeah, long time.
UCSS guest, yep.
League and NFL.
It was a great time with him.
So I talked with him yesterday. The podcast will be out tomorrow. I said to him, during the draft process, have you ever been like, I want this quarterback, and then you met him and changed your mind? He said, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. One way or the other. Like, a guy wins you over, or the guy but in this case, I was talking specifically about, he's like, yeah, it happened. I think he said it happened almost every year, that there was a quarterback that he liked, he met him, and then he was off the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it can happen the other way. You're like, I'm not sure about this guy. You meet him, you're like, oh man, this guy's all about football.
Yeah.
So maybe you move him up because you like, he's got the intangibles,
Yeah.
talent's good, not great. And I think until they have an in-depth conversation with Shedeur, it's hard to know for sure.
I asked Andrew about this at the owners' meetings about how much time do you spend, and he didn't have an actual solid answer. I've talked to others who feel like when you're drafting that high, you spend about 8 hours with that person before you draft them. But there's various touch points. There's the Senior Bowl, there's the Combine, there's the private workouts. So it's not just one, but it's multiple interactions. It's multiple times, and it's wild when you think about it. So let's just take 8 hours, because that's what was kind of told to me. You are making. There's two ways to look at it. One is you can't really hide who you are in over an 8 hour span. It's going to come out, whatever that is, good, bad, or indifferent. Over various meetings, 8 hours is quite a bit of time. Yet at the same time, you are making a multi-million-dollar decision based on 1 day of work, because the normal American works an 8 hour day,
Right.
Usually.
That's true.
So you are basing your entire franchise decision on 1 day.
And maybe your entire career.
And maybe your career.
Yeah.
And the direction of the franchise on 1 day. So 8 hours in one sense feels like a lot of time.
Yeah.
In another sense, it's not. But that's still a lot of time.
Yeah, sure.
Given the parameters with which they're dealing here.
Let me ask y'all a question. I thought about this yesterday after I seen this. The Browns, knowing the Browns coaching staff and knowing everything you know about the Browns, when it comes to development of players, which one you confident out of Shedeur, Travis, and Abdul that the Browns will be able to develop?
Well, I mean, I would say that Shedeur probably needs the most development of the three.
Okay. Are you confident that
am,
Kevin and Tommy Reese and company can develop?
I would say mid-tier confidence. I'm not highly
confident. What
but
about Abdul Carter on the D-line? How confident are you that they could develop him and he could be something?
I guess I would say
Schwartz has a good track
I have
record
a
of
decent
developing
confidence in
Okay.
that.
Now,
defensive ends.
what about if they take Travis Hunter and they like him as a wide receiver? How confident are you that they could develop him into something?
I like their chances best with him, probably.
I believe Travis is the most talented player in this draft.
Okay.
So you've got the most to work with there.
And that's why the Browns haven't made their decision, because they know he's the most talented player. They know the defensive lineman's a great talent. Shedeur's not as talented as those guys, but quarterback means so much more that they have to be sure he's not good enough, because if it's close, they got to take the quarterback.
I mean, when Jimmy came out and said it could take a year or two, I gasped a little bit at the or two.
Sure,
and I don't know if that's him resetting expectations or if that's him jimmying and giving away a little bit too much of the secret sauce of what they're thinking. But if I've been pretty consistent. If you don't love the guys at the top, you can't take a guy just because you need a guy if you don't believe in him. Like, that doesn't
That's
make
true.
any sense to me.
Ultimately, yes.
But you'll also get fired if you don't believe that they're any good and then they turn out to be really good.
That's right.
That's what's going to get you fired.
That's right.
But the part about Adam saying he could fall to 9 or 23, it wouldn't shock me at all. I think there's going to be a lot of volatility. I was told by a different team, Jackson Dart's probably going to be gone by mid to late teens. They feel like by 15 to 18, Dart will be off the board.
It only takes one team that likes you.
That's right.
That's it. 25 teams can think you nothing.
Will you be shocked?
Yeah.
If Dart goes before Shador?
No.
No,
I
I
won't-
wouldn't.
I won't-
No, I'd be
not at all.
surprised, but not shocked.
Probably a little surprised.
Yeah.
No,
but
I
not
wouldn't
shocked.
even be surprised.
Wait, if you said surprised if Dart goes before
If Dart
Tyler
goes
Shuck?
ahead
No,
of Shador.
Dor.
Oh, Shador. Oh, sorry. I thought you said Shuck.
Because
Why would we be surprised about that?
Just but all the consensus has those
Shuck.
three. Shuck, I said that. Now I just doubt myself even when I'm right.
Yeah, I know.
Shook. He goes back and forth.
we've just assumed that Shador is the top 3, top 5.
Right.
I don't know what's that based on.
I guess we shouldn't be surprised at all because we're basing it on mock drafts.
I
and
think that there could be a lot of volatility in this draft.
it
I've said
depends
that
who
for
likes
weeks.
which
All it
team
takes
likes.
is one team to
I
mess
just don't
up
buy
everything.
that. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks in the top 10. I don't buy that all of them are going to pass on Shador. I don't buy that. We'll see. I could be wrong. Maybe maybe Jackson Dart goes 6 instead of.
What was the year that E.J. Manuel went like early?
He was-
It was.
Well, it was
He
that
wasn't early.
I thought he was like top 10.
No. EJ, I feel like EJ was.
He was the first round pick.
He was like 19 or 20.
Yeah.
Really?
He was the 16th pick in
16th,
2013.
yeah.
He
How
went
many-
before somebody that he wasn't supposed
How many
to.
teams needed quarterbacks when Pickett went? 22.
Right. But I don't think. I
And
don't
no
know.
team took a quarterback until.
I
then.
don't think. I don't think people think that lowly of Shador compared to Kenny Pickett. I don't think.
I don't know.
could be wrong.
I don't know.
It just matters. We get so caught up in what the mock drafts say that we think that's what the teams think, and who knows how accurate that is, if at all.
What about the dude that went to Tampa Bay, the quarterback that went, Freeman?
Josh Freeman, yeah.
Wasn't he early?
He was like 10 or 12, wasn't he?
Was he that high?
Mike, where did Josh Freeman
Josh
go?
Freeman was the 17th pick in the 2009 NFL draft.
All right.
Somebody went before a quarterback.
I remember
and
saying
it
the
was
Browns
like,
should sign him
what?
at one point when one of my first couple of years here.
Josh Freeman was the third quarterback taken in that draft.
2000 what?
I gotta figure out what.
That was
9?
the 2009 NFL draft. Can you name the other two quarterbacks before we move on?
In 2009 draft?
Were they any
2009.
good or no?
Yeah, one's still in the league.
The other ones was nothing?
The other one had a decent career, but is now
You
a
said-
commentator.
You said this is all in the first round of 2009.
There was 3 quarterbacks in the top 17 picks. Josh Freeman was 17. Can you name the
Joe
other
Flacco?
two? Not Flacco. Nope.
2009.
No.
They're both top 5 picks.
It's Matt Stafford.
Correct.
Ha!
And who was the number 5 pick that year?
Sam Bradford.
No.
No. Sam Bradford won.
He went one.
Oh yeah,
He was the last quarterback that got
paid.
big
Yeah,
money.
yeah. He messed
wasn't
up
Jake
everything.
Locker, was it?
It was not Jake Locker.
Ryan Tannehill.
Nope.
Oh, no.
I'll give you a hint. I don't know how the deal occurred, but it on NFL Draft Recap.com.
Oh,
it
Matt
has-
Ryan.
Who?
No,
Matt
Ryan
Ryan?
was one.
No,
overall.
it has this pick was from Cleveland. So somehow this was a Cleveland pick that another team made.
Of course.
You said he wasn't that good.
So he traded.
He made 2 championship games.
Oh.
Not Super Bowls, but
Mark
cha-
Sanchez.
Bingo.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you go.
yeah, yeah,
5th pick in the draft that year.
Yeah, he wasn't that good.
So, all right, let's talk a little Guardians. We're going to talk more draft in a sec. We got some draft day trades that we will get
We
to.
traded with the
okay.
Jets.
But we're going to do that in a little bit. Before that, we got to talk Guardians. And before we talk Guardians, a quick reminder that Jason and I did an Ultimate Cavaliers show this morning. We recapped the Knicks game, similar to the conversation we had earlier. We went a little in depth on DeAndre Hunter's fit with the core 4, whether or not you can flip a switch and get ready for the playoffs in a split second. So check it out. It's on our YouTube channel, Cavs and Coffee Ultimate Cavaliers show, new and improved this morning. Both the Guardians bats did not make the trip to San Diego. The team physically was playing the Padres. The offense never got off the plane. They scored 4 runs in the 2 games as part of the sweep. I know you said yesterday that no one should panic. Dylan Cease was a very good pitcher.
Yeah.
But 3 straight games where the offense has not lived up to par. What do you make of it?
They played like crap. I mean, I can't. You can't ask me every day, is it time to panic? I mean,
I did not. The question I asked
it's
was
6 days.
Oh, I didn't ask you.
Yeah.
Should you? I said, what do
Yeah.
you make of it? That's all I asked.
I think they played like absolute dog crap for these 3 games in San Diego. Now, San Diego's undefeated. They're 7-0 to start the season.
They took the Dodgers, man. They pushed the Dodgers last year.
Yeah, they're a really good team.
They had
That
good
being
pitching.
said, the Guardians played terrible baseball
Yeah,
in these
they
3
did.
games. They didn't hit. They didn't pitch. They didn't field. The Ramirez error was sloppy. I mean, they were awful. I can't defend how they played. They played atrocious baseball. They don't,
Who's panicking with 6 games in?
Oh, God, you should see my timeline with some of the things they're going to be
It's
terrible.
out of 162 games. They panicking off
I
of
know. And
6
it
games.
always, I love the people.
If they do bad against the Angels, like maybe I'd be a little concerned.
I'm still not going to
I
panic.
mean, a little bit, just a little bit,
Man, it's April.
A little bit. I said a little bit.
No.
Like
40 games.
This much.
They'd have to be crap for 40 games. And nobody in the division is playing well to start the season, so even less reason to panic.
No, there's no reason to panic. They faced really good pitching the last 2 days. Michael King and Dylan Cease are both elite starters in the National League.
Yep.
The Padres are really friggin' good.
They are.
That's it. Like, come on.
Like I said,
The Guardians are.
the Angels.
Can you put up the American League Central standings?
A little bit.
Yeah, is the American League Central back to being mid?
All 5 teams are 2-4.
Chicago's tied for
What's the
first.
tiebreaker?
White Sox are tied for first.
Yeah, 5-way tie.
Technically, the Twins
Good for
are in
them.
first place on ESPN.com. based
Yes.
off
What
whatever
is that based
tiebreaker.
on?
Minnesota, who cares? Minnesota just played
You don't need to
Chicago.
be so obnoxious. I'm trying to have some
It's
fun
6
here.
games in. I don't
I'm
care about
having
the
some fun.
Friggin' tiebreaker in baseball.
I want the tiebreaker.
Who did the Tigers play? I don't remember who they played
Just recently.
over the weekend.
The Tigers played Seattle the
They
last
play the
week.
Dodgers in Seattle.
Dodgers and
Oh,
Seattle.
yeah, they played the freaking Dodgers.
Dodgers are undefeated. The Padres are
I
undefeated.
told you Dodgers are going to win 120.
Oh, stop. And the
Those are two best
Buster
teams in-
only said this morning they could win
What is he
120.
know?
Real
Works
quick,
for
are those
ESPN.
the
They
two
don't know
best
anything
teams
about
in baseball? The Padres and Dodgers? In
What's
your
that?
opinion, are those the 2 best teams in baseball?
No, the Dodgers are the best team, obviously. The Padres.
there's a big
I don't
gap.
know that the Padres are the second best.
You know how you say in postseason baseball is the most wide open that anything can happen.
That's true.
Do you really think the Dodgers can lose to?
Of course.
Yeah.
100%.
To who?
Injuries? Are they going to be healthy?
First of all, everybody's going overboard about how good they are. They're very, very good. They're not impossible to beat. We're getting carried
So are
away
you
here.
saying that?
who would you pick to win the World Series right now?
They're the favorites, of
Okay.
course. But it's not like he just said, can anybody beat them?
Yeah.
Of course anybody can beat
Yeah,
them.
they can beat guys.
They can lose every round. Only in the baseball does that happen.
I wouldn't pick it to happen, but it could happen.
Of course it could.
How?
But I still think you'd win 120 this year.
There's only been one. I would say that only World Series I ever remember thinking one team couldn't win was when the Yankees played the Padres. I don't know if that was 99, 96, was that?
I think it was
I
96.
believe it was 96.
That was the only World Series I ever watched saying the team's got no shot.
The Padres had no shot of beating the
I
Yankees?
thought they had no shot that year. And otherwise, there's not many playoff. It's very rare in baseball where you watch a playoff matchup and you're like, this team has no chance. It's very rare. I kind of thought that way about the Padres also in '84 when they played the Tigers.
I
in
was
the
a
World
kid. I actually thought that about the Reds, and the Reds wound up beating the A's.
Nobody thought the Reds were going to win that series.
Yeah. That was
We
one.
got-
Exactly. You never know. Obviously the Dodgers are head and shoulders favorites, but in a 5-game series, a couple bad days, first rounds in the five games, the Dodgers. I know they're playing great and they got great teams.
They just got too much because so Shohei has a bad game. You still got Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. Like there's so many.
I mean, the Mariners won 116
Freeman's hurt.
games.
That's
and
right.
Didn't even make it to the World Series.
They didn't make it to the championship series, right?
I didn't think so, but
thought-
I know they didn't make the
They
World
lost to
Series.
the Yankees, I think.
Yeah, I think they did.
That was 2001
was Ichiro
Both.
there.
because Ichiro's rookie season.
Ichiro was there, but
They
A-Rod's
got the
gone.
Guardians tonight. I mean, the Angels tonight, excuse me.
Yeah.
Gavin Williams back on the bump for his second start.
Right. Ben Lively was terrible yesterday.
We can forget Ben Lively.
Yeah.
Let's look ahead to tonight. He's
Right.
taking on Jose Soriano, who in
They
one
play
game.
again tonight.
They
Every
play.
day, baby.
We
Yeah.
gotta
I thought they would at least get
we gotta
one
show
day
last
off,
year's
then
stats.
start.
One start is, you can't.
Well,
mislead
the numbers are not necessarily that relevant, but
There's no
we saw
way.
Gavin Williams make his first start.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
They will win tonight. They'll get off the schneid.
They don't play tonight. They play tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, not tonight.
That's what I thought.
It was tonight.
No, it's not tonight.
It's tomorrow.
Tyvus is right. Most teams are off
say,
today.
like, come on,
Friday,
man. You
Saturday,
got
Sunday.
to give them at
But
least a day.
No.
In between teams, you got to give them a travel day.
No.
A
They're
travel
going from
day.
San Diego to L.A. It's not that far.
So what?
I mean, okay, they got the day off today, but most times, no.
You mean to tell me
Yes.
that they would play San Diego last night, get right on the plane, and then have to play the Angels today?
Yes, it happens all the
No.
time.
Tyvus,
That's
It happens
ridiculous.
all the
That's
time.
ridiculous.
A lot of times you'll have a getaway day.
what is that, a 1-hour flight?
Yeah.
So what?
Wait, from San Diego to
L.A.
I feel like
it's not even an hour.
Yeah.
It's
Who
not even
wants
an
to
hour.
do
They
that?
could drive that.
Like, you got to. What about the players?
Tyvus,
We got to protect
they
the health
played-
of the
Tyvus,
players.
Tyvus.
Hold on.
Bull, I
Voice
got
of
you.
the
Hold on, Bull.
Pampered.
I
They
got
played
you.
a noon game yesterday, West Coast time. They're playing 7 p.m. tonight. There's plenty of time.
Well, tomorrow.
Tyvus.
Tomorrow, sorry.
On Tuesday, April 15th,
Yeah.
the Guardians played the Baltimore Orioles. They played Tuesday the 15th, Wednesday the 16th, Thursday the 17th. Then they fly to Pittsburgh and play Friday the 18th, Friday the 19th, or Saturday the 19th, Sunday the 20th. They come home and play the New York Yankees on Monday.
But see, this
Then they
happens
play
all
the
the
Yankees
time.
on
All right,
Tuesday.
see, like, look at
Then they
this.
play the Yankees on
Wait,
Wednesday. Then they play the Red Sox on Thursday, Friday,
Wait a
Saturday,
minute.
Sunday.
They see, like the Chicago versus the Kansas City, they're here already, so like they're not traveling.
But it happens all the time. Tyvus.
But I'm just saying, like to play a day today and then have to fly that night and then play again tomorrow. That's
That
ridiculous.
happens all the
Happens all
time.
the time.
That's-
But a
It
lot-
happens
that's
all the
but
time.
They're ridiculous.
But a lot of times
I'm with the players. That's ridiculous.
No, but they'll play often, not always. Often they'll play an afternoon game on getaway day
Yes.
so that you can get on the plane earlier.
Exactly.
So that you get to the next city
It's
earlier.
not a big deal. Players are used to it. And the
ridiculous.
average salary in Major League Baseball
need
is
to-
over $5 million.
they need to cut the
So
games
get
down.
over it and play ball.
They need
Let's
to
go.
cut the
Even if
games
you
down.
land, you think they're going to bed when they get to the next city? They ain't going to bed.
You're going to party.
They're going out. And the game ain't till
my
7 o'clock.
goodness.
They're going to have to be at the park
Dude,
till.
ball
You're
players-
right, because you don't have to be in tip-top shape to play baseball.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh,
Just
that's
don't
silly.
even start that.
just
The
saying.
hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball.
That's fine, but I don't have to be in shape for it.
Get out of here with that. I mean, John Crook. will
Babe
support
Ruth
your
used to
argument.
drink
Yeah.
and smoke before the game.
Prince Cecil Fielder. Yeah, terrible series. Hopefully they right the ship. Now you faced good pitchers in 5 of the 6 games to start the season, right? Now you're going to face the Angels. Their best pitcher is Kikuchi. He's pretty good. I don't know if he's pitching in this series.
Who's pitching the series? Do you have the-
Soriano,
Soriano's not
K-
bad, but he's not elite.
Kokanowitz, Jack Kokanowitz. How do you pronounce his name, man?
I'm not trying. You already said it.
He's a
once.
rookie. It's fair, but go
Do
ahead.
you know who? Do you know who I'm
I
talking
know
about?
who you're talking
Jack
about.
Kachanowicz.
Kochanowicz.
Yeah.
Kachanowicz, okay,
Yeah.
Kachanowicz, and then whoever Anderson is, Ian Anderson.
Tyler Anderson.
Ian Anderson.
Oh, Ian Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah, get your facts right, Bull. Don't you dare
Sorry,
disrespect
you're right.
me
I
on
forgot
Los
they.
Angeles
I forgot
Angels
they
pitching.
acquired Ian Anderson. Okay.
They
so
should take 2 or 3.
so Kikuchi's their only good pitcher,
should
really,
take 3
and
or
he's not
3.
pitching. And then they're going to face the White Sox, who until yesterday had pitched really well, but none of their pitchers are good. And so you won't face any good pitching in the next 6 games. So hopefully they can take advantage of it.
Gabby Arias.
And then Kansas
I need
City
another
and
homer.
Baltimore.
So I can rub it in Jason's face.
Well, Gabriel Arias is doing nothing so far. Neither is Bo Naylor.
Well, he
As it
gotta-
stands right now, by the way, the home opener pitching matchup: Logan Allen versus Shane Smith.
My
Ooh,
God,
that's
yeah.
Get your
exciting
popcorn
one.
ready
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Logan
in the
Allen.
snow. That'll be a fun one.
throwing snowballs.
Those guys will both be in the minors 2 weeks later. By the way, Shane Smith is a Rule 5 pick. That's how bad the White Sox are. They have a starting pitcher who is a Rule 5 pick.
I actually like their kid that got hit around yesterday. I like him.
Cannon? Who was
Sean
it
Burke.
yesterday? Oh, Burke.
I went to
like
the.
him.
You know, I was at the Clippers home opener on.
Oh, yeah?
Was that Tuesday?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it a good game?
I didn't watch the game.
Who pitched for the Clippers?
I
What do you
didn't.
mean?
I didn't stay. I was doing the hits. I told you I was doing the news.
Oh.
So we did the hit section, and then I had to go do some radio stuff. Then I had to
look
go
at
to
you,
the.
fancy
I had to
guy.
go to the Jackets game.
I know. They announced with that video had no.
It had no sound.
Yeah.
Well, no, they just showed me on the jumbotron.
Oh,
And then
they didn't announce that you were there.
Yeah, and then they played
but
"Hang
the
On
vid-
Sloopy."
Right, but the video.
that's
The
why I
video
was
that
doing
we,
the OHIO.
the
video we saw had
got
no audio.
Had no
Oh,
sound
I didn't
to
know
it.
that.
Yeah.
No,
I'm like-
they play "Hang On Sloopy."
I'm
That's
like,
why I
it's
was,
just Tyvus hanging out with a bunch
You
of
ever
old
get
white
sick-
people. I don't know what's happening.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
You ever get
He is y'all team. I hate doing this show with y'all, man. Y'all out of pocket, man.
you ever get sick of hearing "Hang On, Sloopy"? You can be honest.
No, I love.
It's just us.
I used to love HOS before. It's the fourth quarter tradition.
Yeah, I know.
So like during training camp, when people would come out and be dragging, I tell Coach Meyer, I said, you know what they need? They need HOS. And he'll look at me, you want to hear HOS? Play HOS. And it'd make me laugh every time because they'd be sick of it, but I'd make them listen to it. It was hilarious.
I would imagine any Ohio State player would be sick of "Hang On, Sloopy."
Guess not.
Sloopy, hang on.
Fired up the crowd. All right, Mike.
Let's get another reading. We're going to
Yeah.
do some draft day trades here in a sec. But first, March Madness, guys. It is here, and FanDuel's giving you a chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when their first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories. You can even pick who's going to cut down the nets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. So, guys, we've talked about the number 2 pick the Browns hold at length. We have dissected what Shedeur Sanders can do for Cleveland, what Travis Hunter could do for Cleveland, what Cam Ward, what Abdul Carter, you name the player, we've dissected it. And recently, in the last couple of days, probably last week, there have been some mock drafts that have come out. Bill Barnwell does one where he goes through an exercise of every pick has to be traded. So the Browns had to trade out from 2, and other teams had to trade. They couldn't make a selection at their spot. So I found 6 trades that I thought were at least reasonable and worth discussing, that we could discuss today to figure out, sure, they're hypothetical, but if they were real, would they make sense for the Cleveland Browns? So I want you guys to put on your Andrew Berry hat, and we're going to run through some of these trades. I'll tell you who came up with the trade and whether or not you think it is a deal worth pursuing or accepting if it was on the table for the Cleveland Browns.
Does any of these have anything to do with Joe Milton?
No, Joe Milton was traded to the Dallas Cowboys today.
Yeah. Steve Becker was really worked up about that this morning.
I know. So was Darryl Ryder.
Well, Brian Hoyer wanted him, didn't he?
Hoyer said he liked him more than any of the quarterbacks in this draft. And then we asked Todd McShay about that, and McShay said he loved Brian Hoyer, but that was an asinine take.
What round was Joe Milton drafted in?
Sixth, I believe. I'll double check.
Darryl Ryder was worked up about this? What did he
Yes,
say?
very worked up.
Darryl Ryder didn't like
What
it.
is he worked up about?
He thought the Browns should have made a trade. He was a 6th-round pick last year. I was correct.
Are people really worked up because this guy played one good game at the end of the year? Is that what it is?
Against the Bills' backups.
Sure is.
Oh, my God. All right, come on. Go ahead.
All right, so let's get to these trades. This first trade, Bull, comes from a friend of yours.
Oh.
A friend of mine, at least online. I don't know him personally, but Cleve TA, friend of the program.
Okay.
Put this trade out there. He said, if the Browns go with Hunter early, this could be a spot to trade up to try and get the quarterback of their choice later. The proposed trade from Cleve TA was with Arizona. In this proposed trade, the Browns would get their first-round pick, number 16 in the draft, in exchange for Greg Newsome, the 33rd pick, 104, and number 200. Now, mind you, before anyone answers whether you take this or not, I took these trades from someone else. Let's not argue if it's, okay, this is too much, too little, whatever. Just if this was on the table and you were Andrew Berry.
Yeah, no.
Do they have two?
I wasn't even going to go there.
104 is what? They have 2 4th-round picks?
They have 2/3 and 2/4, to my knowledge. They have
So
5
what-
in the first 105.
So 5 in the worst? Okay, all right.
So let me ask. So you said in this exercise they took Travis Hunter at 2 already?
Yes.
Correct.
I'd make that trade.
I guess it depends. I mean, if Shedeur Sanders is still available at 16,
If
I'd certainly
Shedeur,
do it. But
Dart,
then again, if I'm going to take
Shedeur,
Shedeur at 16,
Dart,
I should take him at 2.
or Shook is there, I'd take that trade.
That's right around the point where at least one team I talked to believes Dart will go.
Okay.
He's right in that range.
I mean, so essentially, to move up 17 spots from the beginning of the second to the middle of the third, which is a significant jump.
That's a significant
He's
jump.
saying you give up an early 4th-round pick, a late draft pick, and Greg Newsome.
If the Cardinals
to me,
take,
it's a
if the
no-brainer.
Cardinals
I would
take
do
that, I would take that.
I don't
trade.
think the Cardinals would take that.
I don't either.
No, I don't think so.
You would need to attach a future one, I think, and I don't think the Browns would have interest in doing that.
but-
And I don't think Greg Newsome has a ton of value.
No, but in theory, if we're just going based on it, but yes, I would do it, certainly. As is, I think the Browns would probably have to give up a little more.
You need to find a team that's trying to get out of the first round for whatever reason. And I don't think that the Cardinals fit that bill.
No, probably not. Who would fit that bill?
I think Washington would get out at 29. I mean, it's much lower down.
Right, yeah.
I think Washington makes a lot of sense for the Browns. If there's a quarterback that they want to get the fifth year of control at the bottom, I would circle Washington.
I know this may not be a team they want to trade with, but the Bengals are picking right around there.
No, that ain't happening. They're not.
They're
not going to get
the
together.
best edge rusher available.
Minnesota potentially is a trade down. They're at 25 or 26. I can see the Rams right in that same range while picking up a couple extra draft picks.
Right, but I brought up the Bengals because they're higher, but Jason's probably right.
Yeah.
The Bengals don't usually trade out of the first round, but they need a couple more draft picks, so I think maybe they would do that, but I don't know. Go ahead.
All right, this second trade comes from ESPN. It was a roundtable article on deals they thought would be fun. In this scenario,
It's dangerous.
the Browns trade out of the number 2 pick. They trade number 2 to Carolina. Carolina would draft Travis Hunter in this scenario. In exchange for number 2, the Browns get Carolina's first pick in this draft, number 8, their second-round pick in this draft, number 39, and a first-round pick in next year. So in this scenario, the Browns would have 8, 33, and 39, 3 picks in the top 40, and then another pick in the 2026 NFL draft.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but tell me why you guys hate it.
I don't hate it.
I'm not going to say that I hate it. I wouldn't do it.
Go ahead.
You're right. I don't hate it. I wouldn't do it. Because I think because you're giving up talent. Like, okay, in this scenario, you said you're giving up Travis Hunter, who people saying is the best player in this draft. Like, if you at 2, the thing is there are quote unquote can't miss prospects. You literally are getting the best because some people don't even view Cam Ward as the best prospect in this draft. So if he's gonna go 1, that means you still got guys that should come in and be ready to play and contribute right away. And I don't understand why you would move out of that to get somebody now at the 8th pick who is not up to that standard.
That's right.
It makes no sense to me. You might as well just take the guy.
Right.
I understand that you're getting more picks and all those things, but it just doesn't make sense.
You have a chance to get an elite talent too. You don't.
Exactly. All the elite talent will probably be gone.
I hear you. You're not wrong. I agree with everything you said. You know why you consider it?
Because you
I know
need
exactly
a lot
what
of
you're gonna
players.
say. Go ahead.
Because your owner just said it may take a year or 2 to find a franchise
it.
quarterback, and that 2026 pick gives you the ammunition to move up the board next year to go get the quarterback that you want.
But ultimately,
So you would do it.
here's the problem with that, Jason.
You have to have the conversation.
Jason,
I'm not saying
here-
you do it.
I-
I know what you're going to say,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
Is teams don't trade out of 1 very often, and if there's only 1 guy next year, no matter how many draft picks,
You're right.
I know Adam Schefter said, well, if the Titans got blown away, they would trade. Well, then they don't totally believe in him. You could have offered.
I don't think they
You
do.
could have offered the Bengals 7 first-round picks a year for Joe Burrow. They wouldn't have traded him. Same thing with Andrew Luck. Same thing with Peyton Manning. Like
You're right. You're 100% right. But we see trades no, you may not get number 1 overall,
Right.
but we see trades all the time
Yes.
of teams moving up to the top within the top 3 or 5 to go get a quarterback.
Now, what?
That's all I'm saying. No,
what-
you may not get to number 1. You
Right.
probably won't get to number
Yes.
1, but you'll get in position to get a guy that you like because. Yes, we can say it's a crapshoot every year, and it is. All of this is a risk, for sure. But the odds of having back-to-back drafts where these teams, not us, not slapdicks like us, NFL teams look at the quarterback board and say, this is not good, is not very high.
That's true. Now, also, that could very well lead the Browns to having 2 top 10 picks next year because the Panthers, in your defense, because the Panthers aren't great.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know why the Panthers would do that because if they're smart, they're going to stick with Bryce Young. I thought Bryce Young showed enough after all he
because
did.
they want someone for Bryce Young to throw it to.
Yeah,
in this scenario, ESPN did have them taking Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
they traded up
okay.
to get Travis Hunter,
Yeah.
not a
all right.
quarterback.
Well, I can see that.
I'm not saying I would just run to the phone and take the deal, but you have to have that conversation because, 39 is nothing to sneeze at either. So you get a decent player at 8. You should get another. You got a lot of holes on this team, and you've got ammunition for next year to go get your quarterback.
It's not a bad offer.
No.
If they took
I
that-
would consider it.
It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be when Mike says, let's have fun.
If they let's say they've decided, and this is obviously very risky and there's no way they could know this, but if they wanted to get Shedeur Sanders and they thought they could, and they were confident they could
I'd
get him
take
at
that
8,
deal.
then it would make
That's true.
some sense.
That's true.
But
also, if you don't need to fall to 8 if you're not worried about getting your quarterback next year because you don't need the one next year to
that's
get a
true.
quarterback.
Yeah, but then you have a lot of ammunition.
You have a lot of ammo next
to
year.
get. You could have 2 top 10 picks to get some good talent.
Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, since the end of last year, have tried to paint this picture that we are not far away. Is that fair?
Yes.
Boy, they got
not accurate.
They got all the players saying the same thing.
But Jimmy Haslam came out and told you the other day,
that's right.
We are a mess.
Yes, he did.
Our cap is a mess. We swung and missed on Deshaun. It's going to take a year or two. Like, the owner laid it out pretty.
Yeah.
It's like, to his credit, he was pretty honest.
Yeah.
And
I was the first time I praised Jimmy for not, for being real.
I wish I wasn't in Europe when he told Miles to go talk to Andrew, because I would have praised him for that, because I thought
Yes, I agreed with that too.
He did it exactly right.
Yes.
Other than handing the contract to Miles, which I've already on record, I don't think that was a good idea. I do think that Jimmy is trying to learn from past mistakes, and I do think he's trying to get it right. And I don't know if they'll ever get there or not.
Yeah.
But I think he's trying. And I appreciated his honesty. Last week at the owners' meetings.
Mike, let's get the next one.
The next one is in a similar vein, but instead of moving down to number 8, in this scenario, the Raiders at number 6 are trying to get up to number 2. This is from Bill Barnwell's mock draft where they had to trade every pick.
Hard pass.
The Browns in this scenario would trade the number 2 pick and a conditional 5th-round pick to the Raiders for the number 6 pick, the number 37 pick, a 4th-round pick next year, and tight end Michael Mayer.
Why are y'all so out on this one, but on
the last one they got a 1st-round pick next year? This one they get nothing.
If I'm trading out of 2, I want a number 1 next year.
100%.
I agree.
That's
Michael
crazy.
Mayer was a 1st-round talent.
Yeah, but he hasn't done anything.
Kevin loves tight ends.
Every conversation.
We going back to 12 personnel.
Every conversation the Browns need to have regarding the draft revolves around quarterback, period, full
That's
stop.
Right. And dropping to 6 or 8 is irrelevant, whether you're at 6 or at 8. So essentially you're dropping back to the same spot. You can't get Hunter either way. But in that trade, I was getting a 1st-round pick, and this one I'm getting a 4th-round pick and Michael Mayer. I'd rather have a 1st-round pick than Mayer and a 4th-rounder.
Who's the 4th pick in the draft? What team's picking 4th?
Patriots.
Who's 5th?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Abdul Carter would get definitely taken at 4.
Yeah, he's not going past 4.
Because the Giants wouldn't take him because they got 2 good ends. So
the Patriots are drafting Hunter or Carter are not getting past 4.
Hunter ain't making
That is correct.
Yeah.
That's the latest either of them goes.
I mean, in this scenario, everyone's trading up to number 2 to get Hunter.
I would I better not say it.
What? Say it?
No.
Boy.
All right, Jason, I'll say it. You go to the next one.
Next one.
I'll say it.
Yeah!
Jimmy Haslam.
No. It's really not that big of a deal.
This is a legal thing.
This is a off the top of my head hot take. Yeah. Which usually get me in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I think Travis Hunter goes 2 regardless what team is picking it to.
Ooh,
how's that?
That's good.
Is that a hot take?
Either the Browns take him or they trade out.
They trade out.
That ain't no hot
and I don't
take.
think they're trading out. I don't think they're trading out. But if they do,
they have to take him if they're not going to take a quarterback. To me, they have to.
I don't think they have to take. I'm not. Are you going to be upset if they take Abdul Carter? Like,
Yes.
Are you going to be mad?
Upset? No. Disappointed. Not that he can't be a good player. I want them to draft. This guy is a once in a lifetime player. Why would you pass on him for a pass rusher?
He is. I don't know if I've ever. We haven't really spent a lot of time talking about Hunter. At least when I've been on the show.
Well, I haven't seen you.
I miss you.
Hey, Jason, you have been on with do. So give us your take on Hunter after spending a couple days in Florida with the Browns and what you've heard and gathered from other teams on Fox.
I'm really intrigued by Hunter. Like just from talking to a bunch of different people, I like the whole idea of almost filling 2 needs with 1 pick.
It's nice.
Fascinating.
It is.
And I asked Kevin that directly. Yeah. I said, "Do you look at Travis Hunter as being able to fill 2 needs with 1 spot, and how does that impact decision making around the draft?" And he said, basically, every team is having that conversation right now. And I don't know if every team really is, because probably only 3 or so are in position to get them.
Right.
But I understood the sentiment. And basically, he said not every team's going to agree on how you would use him. And it really comes down to choice. It's just a matter of taste. Do you need him more on offense? Do you need him more on defense? I thought Andrew made a terrific point when he was asked to clarify. You guys may have talked about this. I think I was trying to tell you guys this when my stream kept freezing up. Andrew made a great point of saying, like, hey, in the past, because at the Combine he said he sees him a receiver first, defensive back second, and a lot of other teams around the league probably view him more as a defensive back. Mm-hmm. that you would use on spots on offense. And Andrew's point was when you look at two-way players in the past, and he used guys like Charles Woodson and Champ Bailey, they were elite defensive players who just sort of moonlighted on offense. Where if you look at Travis's numbers, like he's got 100 catches.
He's elite at both.
He's elite.
Yeah.
And so that's why you have to take into
catches,
account.
He got 96.
All right, whatever. I
Listen,
round up.
you're right. Another thing, I mentioned that Jay Gruden was on with me.
Yeah.
He told me, he goes, I think I'm in the minority on this, but I would absolutely use him as an offensive player. He says not only is he already elite, he said to me, he's still got to be polished. So there's even more upside to his offensive game.
Yeah.
And look at the way when he catches a pass and then turns to run, I feel like he's so much quicker. Like, can we see a play like that, Mike, where he catches a pass and then he turns to run?
I'm sure one's coming up in a second.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it's just
he looks like an elite athlete compared
it's
to other
crazy.
athletes.
Maybe this is it. I don't know.
No, this is a perfect one. He turns inside.
Okay. I mean, look how quick he makes that turn. He's so much. I mean, that's
Out of there.
some guys are like lumbering when they make that turn, but he's just so fast.
I do think him and Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku gives this team a lot of weapons on the offense.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to get them the ball.
Well, that's the thing. But listen,
But it's more than a
Kenny
one-year
Pickett,
process.
what's wrong
you
with
can't
It's-
turn it around.
it's
all
more
around
than
in
a one.
year.
No,
but think about
it's
this
more
in
than a
theory.
one-year process.
Let's say, okay, let's say they made one of these trades where they traded up into the second round, or even if they don't, let's say they drafted Travis Hunter at 2, and then they took whatever quarterback they liked the most at 33, and then at 64, whatever it is, they took one of the, in this deep running back class, one of these good running backs.
Yeah.
I mean, you could potentially transform the offense pretty quick if you hit. Now,
Yeah.
if that quarterback's no good, then you go get a quarterback in the first round the following year.
And that's the beauty of, like, it's catch-22. I
Yeah.
think part of me thinks it's a mistake to take a quarterback at 33 because you want to try and move up to get the fifth year of control. But also then you're adding a level of pressure or expectations if it's a first round. It sounds silly, but a first-round pick compared to a second-round pick, there's less if you miss on a second-round pick.
There is less pressure, and
Let me ask you a question. It's about the Browns. When Odell and Jarvis both had those 1,000-yard season, was that Kevin's year?
Yes.
Yeah. With Baker.
Okay. The reason I'm asking.
That's the most. Odell's 1,000-yard season is the most fraudulent stat of all time.
No, the reason I'm asking is because I'm thinking about Kevin's offense.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, like, what it looks like with him.
Yeah.
Because obviously.
With 2 wide receivers.
Yeah. Because Judy would be the Amari Cooper. He would, if they're going back, Judy's going to do the bang gates and all those stuff because him and Amari Cooper is essentially the same.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm trying to think.
Has he had a Travis before?
Yeah. Like, what's the close? I guess Odell and Jarvis be the closest thing to it.
Yeah.
Well,
because he like as talented as Odell was, he wasn't the Odell that you thought she was getting,
and he didn't,
and it never fit,
and he never wanted to be here.
Whatever,
like, he never wanted to be.
I mean,
here.
And
but that leads to
another ring was if they took like a Jalen Milroe in the second round, like you'd think he'd be throwing a lot of short pass. Well, no, but he's not
he's
good
throwing
at
deep
that, so
passes.
that's
all he does.
But like that's not Kevin's.
I don't
offense, really.
Well, you got to be able to adjust. The coach has to be able to adjust.
I agree with you, but I'm just
if
I'm trying to just play like I like to think everything like long. Like
of course.
Like let me think long term in this whole thing. Like if they decided to get Travis Hunter over Abdullah Shador, like would that fit in Kevin's offense? How would that
You
look?
make it fit.
it's talent.
Okay,
Yes.
so how often has Kevin done that? Because this is the same coach that came out and said, I got to find a way to get Odell the ball.
Well, because
but Odell was part of the problem.
100%.
I guess so.
And Baker was part of the
And
problem.
Baker was part of the
Baker was a
problem.
big part of the problem.
I guess.
But Kevin's never going to throw a player under the bus. Ever. Never. He's always going to say, put it on me. And people get sick of hearing it. He's never going to change.
Yeah.
He's not going to call a guy out publicly. He's not going to blame. He's going to say,
I
got to
coach somebody out publicly.
Yes.
Did you
Why
just
would you
meet him
do that?
today?
Why would you do that?
Because I'm pretty blunt. I don't know if we've met
a good
before.
trait.
But
Bull,
not
would
at
you
first.
call- if you
But
was the
hang on.
head
But
coach,
it's a
you'd
good
call your
question.
player out?
Not at first. I'd probably cover for him the first few times. And then
it's-
after a while, sometimes it takes some public shame. and public embarrassment
So
to get
you
somebody's
would, so
attention.
you would have told Deshaun last year after the second game, he's not good.
I mean, after that Washington game, I went to that Washington game because I was afraid something like that might happen. I left Washington going, oh my God, it's over. Like, it's over.
Yeah,
I'd
you
be a
kept
bad-
texting. You texted literally like 5 times in the group
I'd
chat.
be a bad coach for a professional team because I'd be too honest and I'd.
Nah, I think to
You'd be
be
dropping
honest,
F-bombs from-
yeah,
with
God.
you, I think I'd be like Kevin. I'd be like Kevin.
I
wouldn't tell you.
I'd get questions from the media. I'd be like, "That's a really stupid
wouldn't tell
question.
you
Why,
anything.
ask me something better than that. What are you doing here?"
It takes a lot of patience to do it the way Kevin does it.
Yeah.
And you got to tell a lot of lies, and you got to bite your tongue.
And
till-
one day
till
he's
the
just gonna
blood
lose
comes
it, though,
out.
Jason.
That would be. I want to be there when it
Oh,
happens.
that would be funny.
Because that would be amazing.
All right, next trade, Mike.
Next trade. This is also from Bill Barnwell's All Trades mock draft. In this scenario, Seattle is looking to add future draft picks and some offensive line help. They hold the 18th pick in the draft. In this Bill Barnwell mock trade, the Browns would get their second first-round pick, move back up to 18, and select a quarterback in exchange for 33, 67, and Wyatt Teller.
So I got
I'm taking
to
it.
move up 15 spots. I give up my third-round pick and Wyatt Teller.
I'm taking it.
I
That's
would
not
do
bad.
It. I would do it.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Wyatt Teller's probably his last year here anyway, don't you think, Jason? They signed a kid from
Jenkins,
the Bears.
Tevin
Tevin.
Jenkins.
He could go. I mean, Wyatt Teller's better, but he could go right in for Wyatt Teller.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
What's the Seahawks guard situation? Do you know?
They
terrible.
hosted Tevin Jenkins, hoping to sign him as
Yeah.
a starter.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They need
Yeah.
guards.
Yeah.
So
That's not bad. I think you might be able to. I mean, Wyatt makes a lot of money, but he's really freaking good.
Yeah.
You definitely have to give 33.
Yeah.
You probably have to give 60. Maybe you can do less than 60.
Right, but 33 you don't care about because you're getting 18.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
not that you don't care, but yeah.
That's
You love Wyatt.
I give up a third-round pick and Wyatt Teller to move up 15 spots. I'm going to do it.
Would you be okay?
He's your guy.
I know.
I like Wyatt, but I mean, you got to be it's business.
business.
You got to be
Yeah.
honest about where guys are at in their career.
How much
and
is
what
he
team
making?
needs them.
How much is the guards making?
17-ish.
Both of them.
Around
17?
that.
Yeah, it's a lot for
Around
guards.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but it's
Do you
right
think?
around
Do
that.
you think?
you want his
after,
cap hit? You want his guaranteed money? What do you want?
Nah,
This
it
year?
don't matter.
Do you think after Batonio retires and then Wyatt leaves, do you think they will ever do this again, where they have both guards making that much?
If your quarterback's on a rookie contract, you can do all
Yeah.
kinds of creative things.
Yeah,
They don't have a quarterback on a rookie contract.
Well, they will
Yes, that's true.
eventually.
But it's unusual to be paying big. They had two excellent guards.
They were built to be a run team.
Yes.
They had an elite running
And
back.
to think that they went away from that for a whole year.
How many wins did it get them being a running team? Not that many.
What, 11?
They were a running team with Joe Flacco? No, they weren't.
I mean, they was a running offense. They still ran under center. And
Last year, 23?
No.
Yeah. Talking about 2020 with Baker?
That was a running team.
Yeah, but Baker threw a decent amount also.
I'm not, listen, when you hear running team.
Yeah.
No team's going to run anymore like they did.
Yeah,
30
I'm
years
not
ago.
talking back in the.
Well, but the Ravens still run a lot. You know, there's a couple of teams that still run the ball. I think
You
there's
know
two or three
what the
teams.
Ravens.
Eagles run a ton.
You know what grinds my gears about the Ravens?
Go
They're
ahead.
a running team until they get to the playoffs.
They're so stupid
and then
in the
they
playoffs.
throw the
I don't know
ball.
what they
Makes
do in
no
the
sense to me.
Mate,
Makes
you're right.
No sense.
100%.
2 years ago when they lost to the Chiefs, they were a man-to-man team. Got up to the playoffs and went up against the Chiefs. Decided to go zone. Oh, by the way, they switched at halftime to man-to-man, and guess what? The Chiefs never scored. I think they scored 3 points for the
This
rest
year
of the
was
game.
worse.
It's
'Cause
ridiculous.
This year they had an elite
Like,
back.
what are y'all doing? Why do y'all
Yeah.
keep going away from what y'all good at? Makes no sense.
Well, let's hope they keep doing it. Go ahead, Mike. You got one more? Or is that it?
We got two more.
Oh.
This last one is the final trade from the Bill Barnwell mock. Once again,
Lot of
every
trades
pick.
for Bill Barnwell.
Well, it was 32 trades, and 3 involved the Browns because
All right.
every pick had to be traded. That was the whole point of this mock. In
Makes a lot of
this
sense.
mock draft, what you don't see is the Falcons also being involved in this deal. In this scenario, the Browns trade up to 1. The Titans get Kirk Cousins. They sent a 6th-round pick to the Falcons for Kirk Cousins. In exchange for 1, they have to give up 67 and a 2nd-round pick next year. If that was the cost to move up to 1, 67 and a 2nd-round pick next year, would you do it?
Sure, but
Yep.
that's not going to be the cost.
Yep.
I would do it.
I would,
if
too.
they're convinced Cam Ward's the only great quarterback in this draft, it's a no-brainer.
I would
Yes.
do it.
But they probably would have to give up more.
And Tennessee's price is going to be much higher than that. Much higher.
Right.
67 in a future, too?
They taking 30.
Yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer.
That would definitely.
I'm telling you right now, I know it sounds insane. It would take a future one to move from 2 to 1.
Nope.
Ultimately, if you think Cam Ward is a franchise quarterback,
You would
then
do it.
You
You
would
would
do
do
it.
it.
100%.
But I know it sounds nuts to move up one spot.
No.
But I'm
If
telling
he's
you,
the only franchise quarterback, it's not nuts. If you really believe that.
yeah.
They should have did this a long time ago.
And I'm not sure. I mean, I thought Andrew, as you know, I said earlier, I appreciated Jimmy's honesty. I thought Andrew was pretty honest as well, with as much as he could be at the owners' meetings, and he basically said, I don't believe Tennessee's actually interested in moving it, and it's unlikely. And he pointed out that there's never been a 2 to 1 trade, a 1-for-2 swap.
Right.
And the number 1 pick is rarely traded. We've talked about that on the show at length. And he basically said, no, we're not going from 2 to 1.
All right. Last one, Mike.
Last one. This is kind of in the same vein as the Seattle and the Arizona trade, but this comes from Lombardi Ave. It's a Packers blog. They mentioned in their blog that Green Bay needs future assets, and if they don't love a player at 23, they suggested trading 23 to the Browns for 33 and 67.
I wouldn't do that.
Why not?
Because I don't think you're moving up enough.
If you're trying to get a quarterback, you do it because you get the 5th-year option. You're moving up 10 spots.
Well, I guess that's a trade you wouldn't make until the pick came up. So
Correct.
It depends who's available at quarterback at that point.
Yes. I only do that trade if I'm trying to get a quarterback.
Right. Sure. I don't know that the 5th-round option, like ultimately, you know before that whether you're signing that quarterback long-term or not, don't you? I mean, if you're unsure, then...
If you're picking up the 5th-year option.
Right, but that's after 3 years that you pick up the option.
I'd like to have that in my pocket.
I hear you, but like if the quarterback's great, that 5th-year option doesn't matter.
So what you're saying is basically...
Yeah, it does.
So let's play... I understand.
Yeah.
Let's say that the Browns like Tyler Shook, right? Shuck.
Yeah.
I got to stop listening to McNuggets.
It's the hardest word to say, even though we know what it is.
He's messed me up.
Shuck.
Anyways, let's say that they like him and they want him to be, that's who they want to take 33.
Yeah.
Right? Would it be, so you're saying if you were the Browns, you would trade up one spot to 32 to take him at 32 just for the 5th-year option?
Yeah. Because you're going to get him at a cheaper rate on that 5th-year option than signing him to a new deal. It's going to be a cost savings.
Well, but...
For 1 year, but it's 1 year.
But a lot of cases, you sign that extension before that year
I got you. But, I mean...
I'm just saying it's not the end-all, be-all.
But I
get why you'd want it.
For that position, it's worth it to me. It's worth it. Now,
I guess it depends what you have to give up to move up. And
sure, of course. Yeah, it depends on how much you love the guy you're trying to go get. It depends on what the cost is.
What was the cost
it's the
there?
Eagles with 32.
Mike,
they
what
love
was
the
the cost?
Browns.
To move up to 23?
Yeah.
Was 33 and 67. So
yeah, I mean, you're giving up the 67th pick in the draft. That's significant. I mean, you should be able to get a very good player at 67.
Yeah,
you should be able to. Or you're going to get a guy you're going to cut next year.
Well, that is the Browns' track record.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry. They're going to draft a Hall of Famer at 67 because they do that all the time.
They've done a great job with 3rd-round picks.
You ever think that sometimes that, the bad luck just goes away and you actually get it right?
You know what? After 25 years, yeah, you would think that. But until proven otherwise.
You would think at some point, like, our bad luck has got to run
Is
out.
it bad luck or is it bad management and bad decision-making?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
All right. All right, Mike.
Those
Good
the
trades,
trades.
man. That was fun.
Real quick before we move on, was one of those your favorite?
Can you put them all on there quickly?
Yes, Steve. 272 is the first one. I'll run through these real quick. But the first one was with the Cardinals, 16 for Newsome, 33, 104, and 200.
Okay.
The second one was with the Panthers, trading back from 2 to 8, picking up a 26 first-round pick and an extra second-round pick. The third deal was with the Raiders, once again moving back. You guys didn't like that one. We can move on. Fourth one was from the Seahawks, Teller, and 67 to move from 33 to 18.
I do it.
The next one was
hang on a minute. Hang on. Go back.
All right.
You're yelling at me for giving up 67 to go up to 23 and Wyatt, but you love that one because you're moving up 5 more spots?
Hypocrite. Yeah, boy,
hold
you're a hypocrite.
Hold on. Only because I think you're more likely at 18 than 23 to be able to get a quarterback you want because
then you're
the
not going
Steelers
to
are
move
picking
up.
in between.
Well, then you're not going to move up.
All right, fair enough. That's fair.
All right.
You're right.
You know what, Jason, thank you for calling out Bull's hypocriteness here. We really appreciate
There's
it.
no such word as hypocriteness.
I'm the producer of the show. If I say hypocriteness is
No,
a word,
that's
gosh darn it, it's
not
a
word. That's not a word.
Hypocrite.
That's not a hypocrite. I was giving you my explanation for it. But you're right. Ultimately, you wouldn't make it unless the quarterback you
It's
wanted
just
was
a load
available.
of
So go
hypocrisy.
ahead.
Just a load of hypocrisy. You and your Pythagorean theorems. Oh, you bull.
You don't even know what the Pythagorean. I don't know what the
I
Pythagorean.
know what the
theorem is.
Pythagorean. It's the one-sided triangle. Yeah, a squared b squared equals c squared.
I think the first trade was the best.
Yes, or the second.
Well, we're not done seeing
You
them.
said you didn't like the second one.
Well, Jason talked me into
And the last one, this was the last one, was 23 for 30.
That's terrible. Terrible.
If you're making me pick one, I take the one where I get the future one because I don't think the Panthers are going to be any good next year, and it gives you currency to go with the quarterback. So I would hate to lose out on Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Number one is the best. The number one.
I would take
you
the
get
first
Travis Hunter and you get the quarterback that you probably want.
What was the first one again?
Greg Newsome trade.
It was the Greg Newsome
For
to
like the
Arizona, so
eights.
you trade back up to 16 and take a quarterback.
I don't think Arizona would do that. From the Browns' perspective.
No. But if I had to pick one I love, if all of these was like both teams have agreed, Jason, you have to pick one of these deals. Which one would you take? Number one.
He said the one for the first round pick.
Really?
I don't think Carolina would make that trade.
Let me see that. Let me see that one.
I think they would.
Which one, Tyler?
The
Knowing
second
that they
one.
probably
The
won't
one
be good this year?
Yeah, the Carolina
Give up
one.
top 10 pick?
If you really love Travis Hunter and you believe in your quarterback and you're trying to pair him with
That's fair because
You
if what's his name, their quarterback,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young takes that next step.
who's his best receiver right now?
Adam Thielen.
Xavier Leggett.
Xavier Leggett and
No,
Thielen.
Thielen's probably their best
Yeah,
receiver.
but
Thielen's
that's
still
exactly
there?
why you make that trade.
Well, you're right, and
They can get the kid from Texas at 8, right?
but he's not as highly thought of.
Somebody came on here and said he's a mini Jamar Chase.
Matthew Golden, you mean?
Yes, Matthew Golden. Who said that? Somebody said that guy. It might have been Ty McShay. Might have said it.
No, I think was it
Greg Cosell. No, Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed? Right.
liked him.
Okay.
Browns have a lot of holes to fill, man.
That they do.
They got
There's
a lot
no
of holes to
denying
fill.
that. They have no quality running backs. They have one wide receiver. They have two quality offensive linemen. They have one good defensive lineman. They have no good linebackers with JOK unavailable.
You can get a very good player at 8. You pick up another high second rounder at 39.
We got Jerome
And you got a
Baker,
future one.
the touchdown maker. We good.
What position does he play?
Linebacker.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
You ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that. First of all, that's Cleveland's own right
That's
there.
fair. That's
And
fair.
The boy gonna do well.
But he's old, isn't he?
Jerome? He
Yeah.
gotta
He's younger than
be-
Tyvis.
He's probably what 29, 28.
Yeah,
Tyvis is retired, Mike.
What is he? 28? I'd
Jerome Baker.
say he's like 28, right?
I have
Jerome
no
Baker's 28. He turns 29 at the end of this season. So
Okay.
he's a young, spry 28-year-old.
idea. Young and spry. Go ahead.
All right, let's move on. That was fun. I'm glad we did those draft day trades. Nice way to change it up a little bit. But, guys, if you want to follow and get extra UCSS content, you can follow us on our social media channels, X, Instagram. We have a TikTok account now. Steve's son Luke has put together some cool edits from clips of the show that we have now posted on TikTok. So if you want to follow us and get some extra content when we were not on the air from 11 to 1, make sure you are following us on all social media platforms. So Ty Jerome has missed 3 games.
By
in a
the
row,
way,
guys.
before we move on, we got to talk about the fact that Bruce Drennan says he's standing by his statement that he said last week, even though he's been gone. I don't know if what happened to him. He was gone. He came back and he said, "I stand by the statement that I laid on you last week. This could come about." Dak Prescott to the Browns for 33 and Greg Newsome. Yeah, Bruce Drennan. I'm trying not to be too mean.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
no.
I'll let it go. Yeah, he's lost. We'll just say that. Go ahead, Mike.
He's out to lunch.
Yes, he is.
Okay. I just bookmarked the clip. I cannot wait to watch what he said after the show. In other news, I'll start the clip now. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
In other news, Ty Jerome missed another game last night as the Cavaliers beat the Knicks. He's missed 3 in a row, listed with knee tendonitis. Before the game, Kenny was asked for an update on Ty Jerome. He said, "We're being cautious. If it was a playoff game, Ty could probably play, but we are deciding to be cautious, hold him out until he's ready." My question to you guys is, and Tyvis, I want to start with you. For a guy like Ty Jerome, who is a bit of a rhythm player, how much do you think he needs to play before the playoffs to find that rhythm that had elevated him into the conversation of Sixth Man of the Year? Or would you take the complete cautious approach and basically shut him down before the Cavs playoff run begins?
That is absolutely not happening. Nobody on this team deserves Maybe Donovan. Donovan's the only one that I was like, all right, we can shut you down because I know what you're going to do in the postseason. The rest of y'all ain't did a thing in the postseason, so I need y'all to be clicking on all cylinders. For some odd reason, and it's not just them, it's all the Cleveland sports teams right now. They have a problem with rest. You give them some time off, they don't come back fresh and ready to go. It takes them.
What is that based on?
Oh, I don't know. The Cavs watching the Browns with Joe Flacco. Wasn't it? We don't need to let Joe Flacco and the Browns play against Cincinnati. We need to give them some time off, and they stunk it up.
So you think that if they had not rested him, he would have played great?
They'd be fine. Messed up the chemistry. Yes.
All right.
So with that being said, Ty Jerome is the guy that if he's a spark like that, I feel like because there's some games he's a huge spark, and then there's some games that he does just okay. Think that how many games left in the season? 8, 7, 8?
I think it's 7 games.
7? Out of those 7 games, I need to see him at least 4.
Jason.
They have 6 games. My bad. 6 games left.
6 games left. Ty Jerome's banged
4.
up. You shutting him down to the playoffs, or you playing him?
No, I play him, but he only needs a game or 2.
4.
Yeah, 4 is crazy.
4.
He didn't need that many.
By the way,
you got to get his win back
in the first round of the playoffs, they're going to play a team that's
much.
He's been out for like 3 games.
I would not play Ty Jerome at all, and here's why.
And what you say?
I would not play him at all till the playoffs, because in the first round of the playoffs, you are playing a bad basketball team.
You might be playing Orlando.
Orlando's a bad basketball team. They're under 500.
Beat you the last time.
Irrelevant.
At home.
Irrelevant.
Just
Cavs
saying.
kicked the Knicks' ass in the regular season 2 years ago. How'd that turn out in the playoffs? It's irrelevant. The Cavs will not lose to Orlando. If the Cavs lose to Orlando, Mike, because Ty Jerome is rusty, then they were a fraud the entire season. So I am not playing Ty Jerome until the playoffs, and I'll let him, knock off the rust against Orlando. It's that simple.
Good luck.
That his health is more important than meaningless games at the end of the year.
You know when he can get healthy?
Orlando's a bad basketball team. They will beat them in 4 or 5 games, or they're not worthy.
His health is so important that once they lose in the first round because he took some time, he get all the rest.
So you think they're going to lose to Orlando, who we don't even know they'll play Orlando, but you think they're going to lose to Orlando because Ty Jerome didn't play in the last 2 weeks of the regular season?
It's possible.
You think so? What are the odds that that's the reason they lose?
Like 2%.
So for 2%, you're going to put a guy in risk when he's got a knee issue.
He ain't got no knee. He got tendonitis.
I would not rest
Stretch.
him. I would not sit him the rest of the way.
Thank you.
I don't think he wants to sit the rest of the way. But I'd give him at least another game or 2 off.
At least. Go ahead, Mike.
I want to ask this as the second part of the question because Tyvis kind of got into it, but for the Cavs to win it all, their depth has been one of their biggest strengths all season. We've talked about their playoff rotation, 8, 9. Kenny said the other day he wants to play 10. We'll see if that becomes to reality. But we all agree that Ty Jerome is in that top 8 if they go to an 8-man rotation. Jason, how important is Ty Jerome to the Cavs? He's obviously not Donovan and Darius, but having a guy to bring off the bench that has been as productive as Ty's been this season, how important is that to their championship chances?
That's hard to answer for me because he's very important to what they do. But he's not one of your top 4 options. As good as he's been, you still, if the game's on the line, there's a lot of guys you put the ball in his hands above him. I know it sounds like blasphemy to say because everybody loves the guy, and rightfully so. He's having a phenomenal year. But who do you want taking the last shot of the game, Darius or Ty Jerome? Darius.
Pretty simple.
Donovan or Ty Jerome? Donovan. I'd want Evan Mobley over Ty Jerome.
100%.
So I'd actually probably put Ty 4th on that list, which is unbelievable.
Ahead of DeAndre Hunter?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'd still take Hunter.
That's how much confidence I have.
I'd probably take Ty Jerome. I'm not gonna lie to you. Depending on what's the situation. Yeah.
If you put the ball in his hands and tell him go make us a basket, I'd put it in Ty over DeAndre Hunter. If it's a corner 3, if it's an open look for a corner 3, it's probably DeAndre Hunter. But can they win a championship without Ty Jerome? Yeah. Ty Jerome is not the difference to them winning or losing a championship. But I don't want to say that and diminish
I think it is because he's the bench plays a big part in this.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Championship. Yes, it does.
The longer you go, they have nobody else who can fill his minutes. I mean, it's an important, crucial piece.
You tell me.
It's an important, crucial
tell
piece.
Me
It is.
Who you got? Because when you need Darius or
I
Donovan
just said,
to sit down for just
I think what
3
Jason's
minutes.
saying. Let's see if I can speak for you. Tell me if I'm correct. If you look at a pie of 0 to 100, and all the things that go into winning a championship, without Ty Jerome, their number would go down a little bit, but not enough that it would make the difference between them winning or losing ultimately.
Yeah, that's
that
probably
fair?
yeah, that's probably close.
Okay.
But I don't want to diminish his importance because he's become crucial to what they do. But if Donovan goes down tomorrow,
Season over.
how confident are you going to be that this team can win a championship? If Evan Mobley goes down, how confident are you going to be? If Darius goes down, how confident are you going to be?
With Ty Jerome stepping in, a lot of people would still be like.
I don't think
I
they
would
could
not
win a
be in that
championship with
boat.
any of those.
A lot
guys
of
now.
people would feel like if Darius went down, they could still at least make some.
I think we know from other factors that a lot of
ain't
people are
saying
dumb.
I
And we
agree.
know a lot of people are
I'm
dumb.
saying I don't say I agree with that. I'm just saying there's
Yeah.
a lot of
And-
fans that think Ty Jerome would be fine.
And to his credit, Ty has answered the call every time because everybody thought this was going to run out, this is going to run out, this is going to run out, this isn't going to last. And he sustained it all year long. Well, now he's got to do it in the playoffs. And maybe he will, but the playoffs are a different animal.
Have we seen Darius do it in the playoffs?
Yeah, he's had some really big playoff games. Against the Knicks, I know they lost the series, but he had one game, I think, in particular, where he had a really good
Yeah,
game.
just the one
And
that
by
I
the
kept.
way,
I
not
was
only
defending him that year.
in that scenario, which is crazy, that anybody would think it would be no big deal to have Darius out. It's crazy. But in that scenario, so now Ty Jerome's playing all of Darius' minutes. Well, who's playing Ty Jerome's minutes? Because there's two
Craig
downgrades.
Porter Jr.
Okay, well, those are two significant downgrades, in my opinion.
Well, it sounds crazy to hear you say that because I'm sitting here telling you that he's important, and y'all make it.
No,
he
he is
didn't
important.
say it's not
he is
important.
important. He is important. He's not the difference in winning or losing a championship.
If you don't have his minutes and what he does, and you replace that with Craig Porter Jr., no disrespect to Craig Porter Jr.
Well, you are disrespectful.
You know what?
Great basketball.
You know what I'll
player.
give you? You know what? I'll meet you halfway. Ty Jerome very well could be the difference in winning or losing a finals game. He's not going to be the difference in winning or losing a finals series. How's that? He could win you a game.
But
he
one
could
game
absolutely
could make the difference in the series.
It
though.
could.
Give
Yeah.
me two, and we'll call it even.
Ty could absolutely
He is
be
not-
the difference in winning or losing an
He is a
NBA Finals
meaningful
game.
piece to what they do.
And
They
think about how
want
far
all
we've-
hands on deck.
Think about how far we've come from October.
Yeah.
When I was saying, oh, you just cut Ty Jerome and get under the cap.
Right.
Yeah, you did.
So
say
now we're saying that he could be the difference in winning or losing. At least I will say.
Yeah.
to the point where Bull don't even
A
want him to
finals
sign
game.
a max deal with somebody else.
He should. He'd be smart to stay with the Cavs.
The one thing with
Still
Ty,
filthy rich.
Leave the money on the table.
Yes.
the one thing with Ty and why his role on this Cavs team is so, it is crucial. Like, I genuinely believe that his role is crucial because after Donovan and Darius, which those two are on the court for like 47 out of 48 minutes in a game. One of those two is always out there. Ty gives you that secondary playmaker and creator that can give those guys rest within their stints because he can play the point. You can run offense through Ty. He runs the pick and roll as efficiently as almost any person in the NBA on a per-possession basis. His PER numbers, his per 36, all that stuff is incredible. And in a playoff series, and Jason, I can't believe we have reached this point because you and I have talked about at length, when you see Ty play, he plays in slow motion in a way that you don't think would work, but he keeps getting to his spots. You can run a pick and roll with Ty with 8 seconds on the shot clock left after a good defensive possession and expect Ty to get you a good shot. If you take Ty out of the equation, those minutes are being replaced by Sam Merrill and Okoro. I don't think Craig Porter Jr. is in the rotation.
No.
Those two guys have just totally different skill sets, and
Yeah.
they can't replicate that late shot clock shot creation in the same way Ty Jerome
Well, the
can.
good news is we've talked about this for 10 minutes, and it doesn't seem like there's any chance of it happening, so it really doesn't matter. As of now, Ty Jerome,
But I do-
Coach said he could play if it was the playoffs, so, and we still got 2 weeks before they
I do
play.
want to hear how many games you think he should play McNuggets out of the last 6.
I'd play 1 or 2. I think you should get him at least a little run before
Yes.
the playoffs start, but
I'll meet y'all halfway at 3.
That's not
0.
You need to stop that.
Ty, in their last 3 games, there's a back-to-back, so he's not going to play a back-to-back.
No, I ain't putting him.
I'd play him at Indiana, sit him against the Knicks, then play him home against
Mike,
Indiana.
what is the downside to him waiting till the playoffs to play?
If he wants a game or two to get his legs back under him, to feel how his knees feels on certain moves, Ty does that deceleration move.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. If he feels better and he wants to play, yeah, I'm with you. But like, let's say in theory they felt like they had to rest him into the playoffs. I just don't think it's that big a deal.
Well, if you have to, you have to.
Right,
but I don't
yeah.
think that's where they're at.
Okay, then it's nothing to worry about.
I don't think anybody's going to play that last game. I could be wrong.
Right. It wouldn't make sense.
I think
you're going to have nothing to play
I
for
think
there.
I mean, Jarrett will probably play. Jarrett will probably do like
2 minutes?
not even.
Oh.
Like take the opening tip,
Yeah.
foul.
Nah, you know Jarrett, we know him too well. He's going to play 15, 16.
Yeah, he
It'll
don't
be
like to do
a short stint, but he's going to get 1 or 2 real stints.
I think the compromise is Jarrett, you can play, but we're getting you out.
Yeah.
And he'll get his 82.
He'll take the opening.
It'll be a very meaningful 82nd game.
Can I give you guys one little Jarrett
Draymond
Allen nugget real
Green
quick
do
before we
that?
move on?
Yeah.
Tristan did that.
One little last Jarrett Allen nugget. Jason, were you in his press conference? Were you still in the locker room when Jarrett came to the podium?
I was in the locker room.
So Jarrett was asked, and I forget who asked the question, so I apologize for not giving them credit, but they asked, you've been closing games recently. A month ago, you weren't necessarily in the closing lineup. How tough has it been not knowing exactly what your role is? And Jarrett, let me remind you guys about Jarrett Allen, was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, was a first-round pick, has been an all-star in this league, and could have very well been an all-star again this season. His response, and I'm paraphrasing, was, I trust Kenny to make the best decision for this team to win. If that
Great
includes me in the closing 5, I'm excited. If that includes DeAndre or someone else and me on the bench, as long as we win, I'm happy.
Great
And frankly, if we lose, as long as I have trust in the coach that he's putting us in the best position, so be it.
There you go.
So then I asked him afterwards, I said, Jarrett, look at your resume. How do you have no ego? And he goes, all I care about is winning. All I want to do is win.
and play 82 games.
And play 82 games, yes. But
No, it's a great answer.
So
he's he's wired differently in the best way possible. You need more guys on a team like that.
Why is he praised, but Miles is not?
What are you
Miles-
talking about?
Like he said, he just want to win. Everybody, but then people get mad at Miles for taking money.
I don't understand.
I don't understand the correlation.
Like
Those are opposite things.
No, because he's such a great guy and all this, but like people was like criticizing Miles. Like I don't understand.
Because Miles came out and told the truth for 2 months about everything that's wrong with the organization.
Well,
and then they made him the highest paid non-quarterback ever. He's like, yeah, you know what? It's not so bad.
Yeah. And then he pretended that it wasn't, about the money when it was, essentially.
That's all.
I don't.
Hey,
It
I'm-
was
who cares?
not about the money.
What's
Come
that?
on. Come on. You can't even say it with a straight face.
wasn't.
No, here's what it was. He knew that the Browns were serious about not trading him, so he said to himself, well, I might as well get as much money as I can, right? I mean, I'm sure he still would want to be traded now.
You think?
Of course he would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course he would. But he realized the Browns were serious about not trading him, and
He got the
he said, I might as well get the money.
leverage now.
He's got all leverage.
Yeah. The Browns bent over and
He
gave him
went
the
from
leverage.
grab
no
their
leverage.
ankles.
He went from no leverage to all leverage.
Will he finish his career as a Brown?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you will.
All right, Mike, what do we
Last topic.
Yeah.
And our last topic of the day is brought to us by Epicor. Guys, today's episode, as always, is brought to you by one of our favorite sponsors. That is Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build, and practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the all-stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts to help make every day easier. Seeing your whole supply chain, that's easier. Managing logistics is easier. Responding to price changes, that's also easier. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global visions, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward. Think ahead and lead the way, because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hardworking minute. Easier doesn't cut corners. Easier finds the lane. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That is www.easierwithepicor.com. Guys, we mentioned this yesterday and earlier in the show, but Colorado is having their, it's not officially called a pro day because the Big 12 had a pro day and all the teams are grouped into that, but it is a private workout day for Travis Hunter, for Shedeur Sanders, and the rest of the Buffaloes who are hoping to get drafted. Not FanDuel, but Sportsbet AG put out some over-under props for Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter at their pro day tomorrow. So we're going to do a little over-under prop bets
You
for
really
what you
can't bet on
expect
anything.
from two potential Buffaloes the Browns could be drafting.
You finally
at
found the
number 2.
game that even pisses me off. I'm like Jason right now.
It's not really a game. We're just a little over-under.
God, so stupid.
Are you ready? And there's no graphics. I forgot to export them. The over-under set by Sportsbet AG on Travis Hunter's 40-yard dash, 4.31.
Oh my God.
I'm taking over.
Do you think he'll run faster, so sub 4.3,
Yeah.
Over.
or over, which would be slower than 4.3,
I
or
mean,
under?
we're not idiots, Mike. We understand what you're saying.
Well, I also am talking to a bunch of people on the YouTube. We have over 2,000 people watching who may not understand. So faster than 4.3?
I say 4.3. I got him at like a 4.36.
Is he running outside?
I'm sure they'll be in their domed practice facility.
That makes a difference. They're in the high altitude.
I got a
Does that make a
4.36.
difference? You got what?
4.36.
4-3 is moving.
What's the record?
4.21.
4.2, low
Times you get a
4.2s.
bottle on your face. We can't even hear you.
4.21.
4.21 is
The
the
fastest
record?
at the combine this year was Matthew Golden, who ran a 4.28.
Ain't that what Xavier Worthy ran? I think he ran 4.21. I don't think it was 4.2 flat.
I'm going under.
Wow.
He will be faster.
And Xavier Worthy did run a 4.21. That is the fastest ever at the combine.
What did you run, Dive?
4.46.
Damn, that's fast.
Yeah, I was moving.
I don't remember what Dustin ran.
He said
I'll
he
look
was
it up.
he said it was a 4.37. I think
He
he
ran a
said.
4.37.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'll take the over.
Dustin ran a 4.43.
Oh, he told me
His
4.37.
official ESPN listed.
All right.
I'll take the over, but I think it's going to be right around that 4.31.
That's crazy. Dude's fast.
Yeah.
If he
Shador
runs
Sanders.
a 4.2 something with his skill set, you combine the skill set with that speed.
It's
What
hard
did
to pass on
Jamar
that.
Chase run?
Hold on.
I don't think he was that fast.
He had to be 4.3.
What did he run?
It has to be the way
He ran a 4.38.
I'm about to say, yeah, he 4.36.
He makes that the turn I was talking about with Hunter. Like Jamar Chase is so quick with that too.
4.36. Jamar Chase be making people look so slow.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody faster than Marquise.
It's crazy.
I don't care what nobody say.
But it's crazy because Chase is so big too.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
Pause.
So that's the four. Yeah, that's a super pause.
Yeah.
Mark that down on the bunk list.
Yeah.
Next
The
one.
bunk list.
Next one. Well, if you say out of pocket stuff, we're gonna put you on the bunk list.
Okay, good.
The vertical jump for Travis Hunter. The over/under is set at 40.5 inches.
I have no sense of. I'm sure that's great, but
I take the over.
what did you jump?
I wasn't a good 34, 35.
Okay. What is
Dustin
Jamar
jumped
Chase,
like
for
40.
comparison, had
Yeah.
a 41-inch vert. So basically,
I think he gonna go
Jamar
40.
Chase.
I think he'll go 41.
Is that the record?
No.
For a football player or just in general?
No, for a football player.
No. The record probably like 42, 43.
The highest vertical jump ever recorded at an NFL combine is 46 inches by Gerald Sensabaugh in 2005.
46.
Is that the dude from Louisville?
He went to I actually have a great story about Gerald. He was he ran
remember
for
him.
mayor.
No,
in
the name
Jonesboro,
sounds
Tennessee.
familiar, but I couldn't tell you about
Gerald
it.
Sensabaugh.
Was he any
That
good as a
name
player?
sound familiar.
Obviously
decent.
not.
Did he go to
Decent.
Did he go to the Steelers?
He played for the Steelers, yeah.
Good call.
Sensible.
I know
Do you know who has the
Listen,
second?
I
You'll
don't
never
know.
guess. Was
You-
the second
I was
highest vert
great.
ever in combine history?
Byron
No, who is it?
Jones.
Cameron Wake, the defensive end, 45.5-inch vert.
Oh my God!
And
Pri-
DPJ, 44 inches.
And
Wow.
so
that
this is,
didn't mean anything.
I was gonna say, this is telling
Juan
you.
Thornhill, 40 inches, 44
Yeah, he
inches.
stinks.
It tests like your explosiveness. Like broad jumping, it tests like your explosiveness.
Juan Thornhill's just test explosive, not real explosive.
Juan Thornhill's a test of patience.
Shador Sanders.
I'll go over. I'll go over on that
Over?
40 and a half.
I'm going over on all the Travis Hunter stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's going to beat these marks. The dude's
Yeah.
a freak athlete.
So you
Shador
go
Sanders.
You think he gonna go under 4.31?
I do. I think he's
Yep.
going 4.3 flat.
That'd be nice.
I got him to 4.28.
4.28. Shador Sanders, who's not necessarily the athlete his father was, but as Bull pointed out yesterday, is not a stiff by any means.
People are making it seem like he's a non-athlete.
Tybus, what was your 40-yard dash again?
4.46.
4.46? They have Shador's listed at 4.65 as the line. Will he break a 4.65 or no?
Oh, yes.
You saying what you think he gonna go? I
He's going under that.
I think he gonna go over.
You think he's slow? You think he's slow then?
Yeah. Now I don't think he's slow. It's a technique. I just don't
Talking
think
about tenths of seconds here.
Yeah.
Well,
None of these dudes are slow.
Yeah. I think he'd be like you say 4.65. I got him at
4.65.
I got him at 4.68.
I got him at 4.53.
I would want to know what other quarterbacks run.
Who do you want to know? I got two hands. I can look up whatever
What
you want.
did,
I have Google at my fingertips.
What did Baker run?
He's probably 4.8.
Baker Mayfield ran a 4.81.
Yep.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow ran. That's a 50-yard dash. I need a 40-yard dash. Joe Burrow ran a 4.9.
Lamar.
Burrow slower than
I don't
Baker.
think
I wouldn't
Lamar
guess that.
ran.
Oh, Lamar ran like a 4.4.
Ran a
right?
4.34.
4.34.
What did
Kyler Murray.
Like I said, he's not running.
Kyler Murray 4.44.
He ain't running.
what did Jalen Milroe run?
4.37.
4.37.
And what was Lamar?
4.34.
4.34.
Not as fast as
I mean,
Lamar, but not
300ths of a second. You're going to say
He's not. That's factually correct.
What did RG3 run? Didn't he run like a 4.3?
RG3 ran a 4.41 and a 4.38 were his two timed speeds. Andrew Luck 4.67. Cam Newton 4.59.
Okay, Luck was 4.67, and they got Shador at what?
4.65.
4.65.
Oh, give me the under. He's faster.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
I think people
better
are,
be.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go 4.68.
I think people are underrating his skill because
Andrew
he's
Luck
not
was a pocket passer.
Dion.
I think he's going to go 4.68.
What
I
did
don't
Peyton
know. I
run?
just think
Now I'm curious. What did Peyton run?
Peyton and Eli. Hold on.
A 4.11?
628.
Peyton allegedly.
5 flat.
Okay. This is from ESPN. So it says Peyton Manning ran a 4.840 the same times as Pat Mahomes. Tom Brady ran a 5.17. Eli was a 4.92.
5.17.
Aaron Rodgers was a
run that, you don't
4.71.
even need to run it. If you go run a 4,
All right.
if you go run a 5,
I'm saying he's under 4.
I'm with you, Bull. I think he's a better
I'll take
athlete
the
than he's
under.
given credit for.
But
4.65.
Tyvus knows this stuff better than we do, so it makes me
4.68.
nervous.
He just comes off to me as a 4.68 guy. I don't know why.
He knows
If he
this
runs
stuff.
a 4.68 tomorrow, Tyvus, on
Yeah.
the dot, I'll buy you a crispy chicken.
What time are they doing this?
So Travis Hunter run a 4.36 and he runs a 4.68.
I'm writing this down.
Is this, are we
I
going
would
to know
just
it
laugh.
by
I would
tomorrow's
like-
show, Mike? Probably not, right?
Say it again?
I would just
Are we
laugh.
going to know the results by tomorrow's show?
No, they're 2 hours
Probably
behind
not,
us.
no. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're
I thought it
Further
might be
west.
early in the morning that they do it, though.
What are you calling Shador? 4.68? And Travis?
What did I say? 4.36 or 4.38?
Yep, if Tyvus gets both right on the spot, not a hundredth of a second off, I will buy him lunch.
Travis
It's
4.36.
actually, it would actually be funny if they pop. I would be like,
Yeah.
And then last one.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly how many throws are on the script for Shador Sanders. Most scripts are about 60 throws. Will Howard
Yeah.
threw 64, Cam Ward threw 61, so somewhere in that range. So they put the over-under on incompletions in the first 20 throws. So just his first 20 at 1.5
for Shador,
for Shador.
I'm taking the under. They ain't gonna miss no
Well, but
one
the
throw.
receiver could drop it.
They ain't gonna miss no. Nah, he ain't gonna drop no.
Not
on pro day, you ain't. Not with all the, with that money sitting right there, you ain't.
I'm
dropping-
with
pressure
you.
on
You're
those
not dropping
receivers.
that ball.
I'm going under.
That's only one drop. You're
Two.
giving him 1.5. If you're taking the under, you're taking one drop.
Right, or 0.
I'm taking
Right.
the under. They're not dropping. It'll probably be 0.
Yeah, all right. I'll give him one. I'll take the under with you guys.
Yeah.
It's.
It's a good number, though.
Thank you, I found it myself.
I mean, 2 wouldn't be that shocking, would it?
I would assume.
If he goes
yeah.
18 to 20, oh,
Right,
forget it.
especially because a
Like,
player can
No, yes, no.
I mean, you
I don't
should-
think the wide receivers gonna drop.
You should be completing them because there ain't nobody in front of you.
You getting some fresh gloves that day.
Yeah.
Y'all been doing this for like a month and a half now, where y'all been throwing to
Right.
each other.
Well,
like,
and they've been throwing to each other for years.
that too, but
Yeah.
But to get ready for this.
to get ready for this, like
Right.
this is what we gonna be doing on this day.
Right.
Yeah.
It prob-
The
They
pro
done ran
day's at
through this like
2:30
3
tomorrow,
times.
by the way,
2:30.
our time. So
2:30
we'll be able to react to it on Monday.
Okay. Very good. All right.
I can't
Super
wait
chats.
to check Twitter.
Yeah, super chats. Super chats. We got a
436.
couple today. Our guy Salvatore sent in a bunch. So we'll start with
Salvatore.
all of Salvatore's. Actually, we'll start with Jimmy's,
Okay.
and then we'll get to Sal because he had a bunch in a row.
Very
But first, Joseph Silver says, and I know the answer to this already, so Jason, this is directed at you. Am I the only one thinking Jimmy Haslam secretly wants Arch Manning?
I mean, I wrote it in December.
Is that a big secret?
No, that's my point. Jason.
He's
has
obsessed with the
said a
Manning
couple
family.
times.
Why would that be a secret?
Yeah, I wrote that in December.
That's why That's why he said it's going to take.
By the way, is it
we're not gonna
concerning
reach.
that Arch Manning couldn't beat out what's his name?
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, who's not very good.
I mean, Manning may not be this generational player.
Right.
He may not. I don't know.
And if that's the case, then
Why is everybody's going crazy
fall
for
to
Arch
the
Manning
Browns in
because of his
12.
last name? And yet, I feel like the last name's being used against Shador.
He was,
He was good when he went in. He played like 3 games.
But why
for
couldn't he beat Quinn Ewers for a job if he's so good?
Because Quinn was there. Like, Quinn was a really good
if
quarterback.
he were that good, you'd have to start him.
Quinn
wouldn't
was
you?
a good quarterback. He was really good. I don't know what happened to him
But
over the course
nobody
of the
thinks he's going to be a great pro.
You don't have to be a great pro to be a great college quarterback. He was a
All
very
right.
good college quarterback.
All right.
very
Quinn
true.
lost his deep ball.
I'm just saying, everybody's talking about Arch Manning as if he's a short thing.
Arch was the #1 quarterback going into college of his class.
I wonder what percentage of the #1 quarterback going into their class were actually great pros.
Trevor Lawrence.
Here, how about this?
Not a great pro.
Well, here's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll let Ant read the rest of the super chats.
Yeah.
I'm going to look up that fact. I'll go
Okay.
back 20 years, look at the #1 quarterback
Go ahead.
in each of the last 20 recruiting
do it.
classes.
You
So
gonna
let me
get
swing
all
the
that
camera over to
done.
Ant.
Yeah.
Wow.
I only did Joseph Silver, so all of Salvatore's
Go
are all
Salvatore.
yours.
Salvatore.
Cool.
Anthony.
So Salvatore the 216 says you're casual if you play Call of Duty, Tyvis. Call of Duty is for drones.
Whoa.
Is for drones?
Look, I
What
don't
does that
What is
even
a
mean?
drone?
I don't know what that
Drones
means.
play
What do
video
you
games?
play? What does he play? Fortnite?
I don't look. As someone who plays more video games
You're
than
a
this entire
casual.
staff combined, you're fine. All right, next one.
Is that very insulting?
I have no idea. You know what? He throwing these words at me, and because I can't identify them, I'm gonna take them as disrespect. Watch your mouth.
That is highly
I've been called a lot of things. I've never been called casual.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't know what
I'm
that
gonna
means.
take it
All right,
as
next.
disrespect.
Based off his disregard for baseball players' fitness, Tyvis, do you think you don't need to be in an unbelievably great shape to drive a NASCAR either? Shaking my head. Yeah, he's coming at you today,
Salvatore
Tyvis.
216.
That's
after you.
correct.
He's on you.
That's correct. You don't.
Got to be able to hold your bladder.
That's it. That's harder. That's
Do
the
you?
hardest thing.
They don't have
wear
something they can
diapers, so you
pee
do
in
not
the
have-
car?
You do not have to hold your diaper.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah, I guess maybe you could pee in pants.
Diaper or, you know.
You got to be in tip top. Come on. You think Josh Naylor is in tip top shape?
No.
That's
thought
why he's in
Prince-
Arizona today.
You think Prince Fielder was in tip top shape?
No.
Okay.
But there are
They're the
baseball players
exception.
who are in great shape.
They're
I'm
the
just saying.
exception.
Yeah.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
saying.
Was
the next one
Refrigerator
he said-
Perry in great
That's
shape?
fair point.
He was.
There's some
he
fat guys
was-
in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Some of those defensive tackles are fat.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the next one says Salvatore had to work the night of the comedy show, but he'd literally pay for a video of Bull's stand-up set. Where can he send his money? Bull's talented man.
Thank you, Salvatore. You're smart.
We have that. That's the only set that got recorded, correct?
Bull just has to bring in a little thumbnail.
I got it.
Thumb drive. You
I
got
got
it.
it with
I
me.
give it to you after the show.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last one today says, no matter our depth, our coaching staff, or our team chemistry, we need to prove that starting and relying on two small guards is not our fatal flaw for the Cavs.
I don't think anybody's looking at it as a fatal flaw.
It's unusual for a team with two small guards to win a championship. Doesn't
Right.
mean it's impossible.
Right.
Evan and
Pistons.
Jarrett offset a lot of their size issues. in
And
the
Evans'
backcourt.
growth as a player is the only reason.
Not the only
that-
reason, but it's a big one.
Well, but I think it's the only reason why they're a legit championship contender. Not,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Mike and I have said for years
Yeah.
when Evan
Yep.
is the best player on the team, they're viable championship contenders.
I want to know what a drone is.
well, you know what a drone is.
Yeah, but what
in
is
terms
that
of-
supposed to
Do drones
mean?
play video games?
What
How
is
can
that?
drones play video
What did he
games?
say?
I'm going to be honest, that's a new one on me. I don't know.
Explain that,
I
Salvatore.
play
it's a typo.
Warzone, and that's you a drone.
All
'cause
right, Mike,
you're
you
a cat? I don't
got
get it.
the answer or no?
Yeah, I'm still going through, but
Give me what
I
you got.
started
Give us what you got so far.
Started in 2005,
Yeah.
Stafford.
Okay, that's a winner.
2006, Mark Sanchez.
Okay, NFL
Turned out to be a
quarterback.
top 5.
I go. That's one win, one tie. Means he was in the NFL, decent
He
player.
made 2 AFC
No
championship
losses.
games.
Yeah, he still wasn't that good. Go ahead.
He wasn't elite, no. but-
Deshaun Watson.
all right, had his moments.
Now I'm going up. There's a couple missed. Like there's been some misses. Don't worry. In between, I'm just
Yeah,
giving you
go
the
ahead.
hits as I'm still going. Josh Rosen was 2015.
Woo, that's a miss.
2016 was Shea Patterson.
Never
Miss.
heard of him.
Michigan.
Did he go to the Wolverine? I picked him off when
Michigan.
I was with the BC Lions. I picked 6th him.
2017 was Davis Mills.
Miss.
Tua was the number 2. 2018 was Trevor Lawrence.
He's
Hit. It's a hit.
fine, but he's highly overrated.
Hasn't lived up to
He's
expectations.
No.
overpaid.
2019 was
Tyler
as
Shuck.
it loads. Spencer Rattler. Shuck's already in college in 2019.
Spencer Rattler, he's not even in the NFL. I don't
Yes, he
think.
is. He with the
he?
Saints. He
Oh,
played
yeah,
last
you're
year
right.
with the
You're right.
Saints.
Right. Yeah.
2020 was Bryce Young.
Hit
To
for
be
now.
determined.
For now.
I think he's going to be decent.
It's a TBD.
2021 was Quinn Ewers.
Too early to tell, but doesn't
Yeah.
look good. Well, no point. The rest we don't know yet, but go ahead.
2022 was Cade Klubnik, who's the Clemson quarterback.
Is he going to be a pro?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
23 is Arch Manning. Klubnik's one of the guys that people think could be a high prospect next year.
Okay.
23 was Arch Manning. 24, this was last year's freshman, Julian Sayin, who's now the Ohio State quarterback.
Yeah.
So, he is?
Go Bucks.
Yeah.
So outside of Stafford, most of those other guys were either okay pros or busts.
A lot of them made the pros.
I mean,
though.
Trevor Lawrence is probably the second best guy on that list, and he's been a disappointment. I mean, Deshaun Watson in Houston was better than Trevor Lawrence, but
Watson was pretty damn good. So
he was.
He wasn't.
Yep. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
You hate
All right,
to
we're
see
going to
it.
overtime. In overtime, my buddy's here, in from Jersey. We're going to slide him in, talk
All
a
right.
little
We'll see you in
little
overtime.
nugget stories from the past. Peace.